Happy Thursday. Captain Coder here on this beautiful Thursday morning, coming at you with some new skill tree building. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. It's so nice to have you here with me on this beautiful morning. I'm gonna wake up. We're gonna get some coding in. We're gonna do some fun stuff today, folks. What are we working on? Well, who's here? Who's here? We got Mooniz. Good morning, Mooniz. Good morning from the United States. Mooniz says good morning from Europe. We got the legendary MMO Pug here with us. We got Lance over on YouTube. We got Lance on Twitch as well, YouTube and Twitch. We got the Lance on both. We also got Sir Black. So good morning, Sir Black. So good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. I think it's a good afternoon for you. Is that true, Sir Black? So I'm not sure. Shadowless Dev. Welcome back, Shadowless Dev. Hello, hello. So nice to see you. Captain Coder here. Lance says, you've got me in stereo. That's right. We got Lance in stereo, folks. What are we working on today? What have we been working on this week? What did we get done yesterday? Who knows? I don't know. Oh wait, yes we do. I have put together a blog. I've been managing to keep up with it. I've been keeping up with the blog. Let's check out what did we do last time? Where are we? What's going on? Didn't quite get as much done yesterday as I'd hoped we would, but that's okay. Sometimes your time estimates just aren't quite right. Sometimes the time estimates are far off. Yesterday we made some progress, just not as much as we might want to, especially when you're doing UI stuff. UI stuff always seems to take much longer than I expect it to, so I should plan a little better. Sir Black Cell says, yes, it's 1 p.m. already, afternoon if then. Yes, all right, 1 p.m. Good afternoon to you. Good morning from me to you. How is everybody today? Sir Black Soul, how are you? Shadowless Dev, how are you? Lance, how you doing, my friend? MMO Pug, I gotta know. How are you? And then Mooniz, of course. How is the moon today? Lance says, UI stuff is always tricksy. The Trixie UI, always messing with my precious programs. Sir Black Soul says, Lance, is that you? Not YouTube anymore. Well, maybe I'm coming at Lance in stereo. Lance, you watch me on YouTube and Twitch. Got the cap in and coming at you from both ends, both angles. All right, we're on day 4 here. We've done day 1, 2, 3 yesterday. Yesterday we were trying to build up a manually built UI to see what components it is. Ideally, we want to build an engine. Engine's the wrong word. Build a tool that we can use to make a variety of skill trees in different projects. So to learn how, what are the components we can pull out, we built a manual little skill tree. We generated some stuff. We used some Leonardo AI to generate these little skill nodes. Look, those came out. I was really impressed with how nice these actually ended up coming out. Moon says, I'm doing well, quite stressed, but that's life, I guess. Well, I'm sorry you're stressed out, my friend. I hope you can find some time to relax. Maybe make yourself a nice, relaxing cup of tea. Do what you can to rest, but sometimes stress happens. I hope it's not a long amount of stress. MMO Pug says, doing well. Tonight is my son's final ice hockey practice of the season. Ooh, that's exciting. Is this your son's first ice hockey season? Or, how many, is this his first final practice, or has he done a final practice in the past? Lance says, just tabbing between windows and screens at the moment, Sir Black Soul. That's right. Going back and forth. Sir Black Soul says, I'm doing good. Think a stretch break is coming soon. Yeah, stretch, you gotta stop, take some stretch, take care of yourself, love your body. Sir Black Soul, wishing to MMO best of luck to him. Hope he wins. So do I. Lance says, doing well, finishing the last 2 hours of my shift at the moment. Then we'll head home and do more coding or fall asleep, whichever. Look, maybe you could code in your sleep. That's a win-win situation. Shadowless Death says, playing with the Twitch API. Not having fun with it, but writing my own bot is something I want to do. I've been wanting to do that too. I've thought about that. I think that'd be awesome. Lobster Kovic says, hi, where's the subscribe button? No subscribe button on my channel. I'm not an affiliate. I don't want ads to play on my channel. That said, if you want to support me, if you want to support someone, I just set this up. Let's see, where is it? Support, do I have a support button? If, so Lobster Kovic, if you really want to support the captain, you can. I've put together a resource to allow you to do that via Humble. Captain Coder, Humble Bundle, and Girls Who Code. You get to support all of us. It's a win-win-win situation if you do this, and you get something out of it. You get something, I get something, Girls Who Code get something. So if you want to go to this little humble.captaincoder.org, you don't have to, but if you want to support the captain, this is how you do it. And specifically try and support Girls Who Code. It depends on your country. Some countries you're not going to be able to support Girls Who Code. Some bundles you won't be able to support. But this bundle here is awesome. I will say that this bundle is awesome here. This game design and AI bundle. If you click on this and you look through this, if you see what you like here, you can get all 18, you get 9, you get 2. You can donate $1 if you want. That's all, there's no, $1 is the minimum. I say there's no minimum, but $1 minimum. Come over here, check that out if you want to. If you want to, that's how you can support Captain Coder's Academy. There's no subscribe option though. I don't want ads playing, and I cross stream to YouTube. But if you want to support in some way, do this. And I really want you to give that money to Girls Who Code. Give it to Girls Who Code because they need it more than I do. All right, folks. So that if you want to support the captain, that's how you do it. But more importantly, that's how you support the charities. All right, folks, thank you for asking, Lobster Kovic. I hope that kind of answers your question. Yeah, there's no subscribe button. I'm sorry. We got Vinny Keller following me. Vinny Keller, welcome to the crew. Vinny Keller, thanks for following me. Welcome to the crew. How are you, Vinny? Vinny Keller, happy Thursday. Welcome aboard, my friend. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. So happy to have you here. If you would like to, if you need to know who I am, I'm Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me. I'm a computer science educator. So happy to have you here with me on this beautiful Thursday morning. If you have any questions, programming related or otherwise, do not hesitate to ask. I am happy to entertain them. I'll do my best to answer them. I can't always answer your questions. I don't have all the answers, but I'll do my best. Also, if you, backseat coding's encouraged here. We're learning to code and growing as a crew. We're growing together, so ask lots of questions. If you see something, say something. Shadowless Deb, let's see here. Get caught back up here. Where was that? MMO Puckets, he was in an intro to hockey last year, talking about your son. This is the first time on a team. He made the team for next year, bumped up to the next level for the 8U team, ages 8 and up. Oh, 8 and under. Gotcha. That's awesome. It's so nice to be involved in a team sport and a team activity. Band was one of the things for me that I grew up in. Band and scouts and taekwondo. Those were the 3 activities I did growing up. That said, Sir Black Soul, MMO Plus says, Sir Black Soul, I just took a lunch break, so we'll probably good time to take a break with the captain later. Yes, take a break. Lance says, Cap, I have done the sleep coding before. I actually had a dream about Captain Coder and superhero type games, saving the world from data corruption. It's a weird dream. I have an idea. So Taurus King over on the Discord suggested such a cool idea for a project. So folks, did you know you can suggest project ideas on the Discord? There's so many now, it's gonna be hard to get to all of them, but I want to get to them all. This one I wanna do, where did it go? Oh, it's down here now. I don't want this to be down. How do I make this not be down here? Taurus King suggested a side scroller where you Captain Coder the game, you collect blocks of code and put the blocks together in the right order to achieve level progression. I love this idea. I think I'm gonna combine it with create a coding language. I think I'm gonna do these 2 things together where I create a Captain Coder coding language for a game that, the world is programmable, but you gotta find the blocks to do it. So it's gonna be a block programming language. I'm kind of excited about that one. That said, there's always something. Muna says, mine didn't auto-cheers Girls Who Code. Yeah, so some of the bundles don't do it, and it turns out some countries you can't donate to Girls Who Code. It depends on your country, it depends on the bundle, depends on what you're doing. Lobster Kovic says, I was already eyeing that bundle, definitely gonna buy it now. Awesome, my friend. awesome, my friend. I hope it helped. I bought it. There's some good stuff in there. I can't wait to do it. And if there's other bundles that you're interested, if you just click this activate support at the bottom, it'll actually apply it to anything. I don't want to promote any bundles that I haven't personally purchased. I haven't personally purchased any except for, well, I've purchased a lot of bundles actually, but this one explicitly I recommend. And then if you do this activate support, anything you get for 24 hours will give you those options for Captain Coder / Girls Who Code if it is applicable. But don't worry, give to charity. That's what I'm saying. Give to charity because they need it more than I do. And that's one way you can support Captain Coder, charity, and yourself. Get yourself something cool. Lance says, I love the idea as well. I might pester ITC for pixel artwork. We shall see. Yeah, I have so many ideas. I wish Woomy had, 9 copies of herself. Then I'd be able to commission all the things I want. All right, folks. Gordy and Go Games has that sweet, creepy, awesome, and cute emote. Look at that sweet creep. That emote's cute and creepy and wonderful. I love that. AIDCAK wave. IDCAK wave. I'm gonna have to check out IDCAK. Who's IDCAK? All right, Gordy Echo Games. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. It's so nice to have you here. We got the whole crew here today, folks. This is exciting. All right, that said, we're gonna hop on in. Here. What did we do last time? What are we doing this time? Where are things going? So last time we put together some art. So day 1, day 2, we put together what I call our core library. It's all the non-Unity stuff to build a skill tree. What are our goals for this project? We want to learn I want to generate a graph data structure visualization using UI Toolkit. So given a graph in our skill tree, I would like to have it generate a UI for us and then make it so you can customize that point, drag and drop it at that point. I'm super excited about that. Exploring the idea of what components of a skill tree can actually be generalized. That one's tricky. And then hopefully we'll be able to use the style sheet variables on this project. Didn't use them last time, hoping to use them this time. And our scope is to build a skill tree that looks like this. We have nodes for our skills. Nodes have children. Nodes can have children, 0 or more children. A child that has a parent, you have to have all of the parents to acquire it, and then you can add in additional requirements. You'd have a level requirement, a skill cost, any requirement you want. We've tried to generalize that as an interface. So that's our goal for this project. That's what we're trying to do. Day 2, we systematized a skill tree builder, so you can write code that sort of looks like this to generate a graph data structure. So you specify the edges and requirements in this way. And then yesterday we started manually putting together, okay, what are the UI components we need? So we built some nodes. These came out pretty cute. I enjoyed that. We played around with how can we get them to lay out on the screen. And then more specifically, the thing that was really, really cool was exploring this vector API that the UI builder exposes to us programmatically. So we implemented this line element that lets us specify, in this case, you wrote a little thing that we can specify 2 nodes and it automatically draws a line between them. And then if you move these things around, that line stays put. It's not the most beautiful thing there, but this is a starting point that's gonna hopefully allow us to make these dynamically generated for us. So that's what we're gonna try to do. What are my goals today? What's my primary goal? My primary goal is the automatic skill tree generation. I want to see, if we can get can we build a skill tree in Unity using scriptable objects? Can we specify that skill tree? Then using that, can we implement a skill tree to UI transformer? So this is gonna be, I'm not sure if we'll be able to do this, but I would like to make it so you can drag or select a skill tree from your assets in this attribute list. I don't know if that's possible. And then have that, click a little button, or having that selected will generate your UI for you. So we may end up writing a Unity editor. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out, folks. We're gonna find out. That's what I wanna see if I can get done today. So we started defining a few scriptable objects yesterday, and it got a little bit, weird in that, oh, this isn't quite how I want it to work. Yeah, so let's take a look here though. We were able to define some skills. And on a skill, I would like to be able to specify requirements, but I'm not sure that that works well, because it's sort of like the node that needs to have the requirements added to it. And so I'm gonna see if I can write a scriptable object for our builder specification. So a tool that is sort of like has a builder in it, and you can in the inspector construct the nodes. So we're gonna see if we can do that. I'm not sure if we can, but that's the first thing I want to try and do, is create scriptable objects to represent a skill tree components. We have our skills. The requirements don't quite make sense here. And so this is going to be a really I think the skill tree builder components might have to be sort of customized to your explicit game. That said, we're going to do our best. Mr. Natural's lurking requirement, be in chat room. That's correct. If you want to lurk, you got to be in the chat room. That's right, Mr. Natural. That's right. You can't lurk unless you're lurking. To lurk, you got to lurk. Okay, so let's start by implementing I want to implement sort of a skill tree data. All right, so a script here. I'm going to duplicate the skill data one. And this is sort of hopefully going to be our skill tree. So skill tree data like this. Mooney says you have to be active to lurk. You don't have to be active. You have to actively choose to lurk. All right. If you never show up, are you really lurking? Are you lurking if you don't show up? Skill tree data. Think about that one, Moonness. Think about that one. This is gonna be skills, skill tree. And it's sort of like a skill tree definition. And so the thing in here is we sort of have to have our root. No lurk, no points. That's right, no lurk, no points. No lurk, no points, folks. No lurk, no points. Mr. Natural checks that leaderboard, currently in 9th place. Quite the lurker. Moon is flexing in first place with almost 36,000 points. Look at that flex. Look at that flex, folks. Moon is with the flex. All right, so this here is gonna have our skill data. This is gonna be our root. Get private set like that. And then we sort of have the parent-child relationships for the way the nodes connect. So I think we actually sort of need something like this. That's a public class.
Whoa.
That's right, Mr. Natural. Whoa, thank you for the whoa. It's incredible. Mooniz's incredible flex there. I don't know how we can stay in this room all together with all those muscles filling up the whole room, folks. We might suffocate in here, Mooniz. Be careful when you flex like that. You could suffocate some people. Sorry, this is my room now. That's right, Mooniz. This is my. I am the captain now. All right, so we're gonna have this internal class here. Maybe I'll put it out here. But this class is going to be
you in the back. Pay attention.
That's right. Pay attention, folks. If you're not paying attention, Mr. Natural says pay attention. Thank you, Mr. Natural. Lance checking those points. You're working your way up, Lance. 132nd place out of, over 1,600. Not bad. Not bad. But I know that you watch a lot on YouTube, so you don't get all the points that you deserve. We do have to figure out how to get points on YouTube. I don't know how to get points on YouTube, but I know it's possible because I think Sir Black Soul showed us an API yesterday. Lance says that looks to be on par with my KD ratio, kill death rate. Is that your kill death ratio? Let's see, public class. This is gonna be our, I'm gonna call this Edge for now. What would be a better name for edge in a skill tree? So in graph theory, the line between two nodes is called an edge. In the skill tree, what do people typically call that? Do they call that anything? Check says Twitch is where the points are at. That's right, Chex. That is where the points are at. That is where the points are at, folks. That's it. So we got a class edge here. This needs to be a serialized system.serializable. Let's says, nope, just did the math. That point value is way higher. That's good, I think. All right, so then we got two skill tree datas. So we're gonna have a public skill data parent, and then a public skill data child, like this. So this is the one. Dude, but who's the pointer? Checks, I don't know. Only the nose knows who the pointer is, and the nose isn't here right now. Only the nose knows. All right, field, serialize this field. We're gonna add in a list of edges here. These are gonna be our edges, I guess. Get private set, like this. So the idea, I guess, if I'm following good practice, these should still be serialized fields, like this field, serialized field, and be get private set. I'm gonna be a good programmer and do it this way for now. All right, let's says dope. That's supposed to be the kill death ratio, not ration. Ration. It's not quite a ration, not quite a ratio. It's a ration. It's an edible ratio. It's a ration. Is that right? Is that what we're going for? Okay, so let's create a folder here. This is gonna be called our skill tree. Maybe call it skill trees, but this one we're gonna create a skill tree called Paladin. God, man, how did I exist without scriptable objects before? Look how nice that is, folks. Look how beautiful, look how easy that is. Mooniz, why didn't you beat me up earlier about, you should have told me more. You should have been like, hey, Captain Coder, you're a fool. You're a fool. Maybe you did. I think you actually did tell me that multiple times that I should be using scriptable objects, but I just didn't listen. Why didn't you tell me louder? Okay, so we have our paladin here. Our root is going to be hero. And we should be able to add edges in here. So element 0. So we have a parent. So our parent is hero. Our child is divine sense. And we have another one, hero. Goes to spellcasting. Spellcasting goes to lay hands. And spellcasting also goes to sacred oath. And divine sense goes to sacred oath. So we're able to define that here. Lance says, I do love scriptable objects, of course. We also end up in that mess where we want to use the cool new thing for everything. Yeah, don't use scriptable objects. They serve a very specific role. Mooniz says, and you complain about, no, they can't be used in WebGL. I was misinformed. It's because people in chat were telling me to use it to like save my state, and you shouldn't really use it that way. Tim Spurgeon says, good morning. Good morning, Tim Spurgeon. How the heck are you on this beautiful Thursday, my friend? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be. How are you, Tim? How you doing? Check says, I just studied execution order of scriptable objects today. Awake, enable, etc. What did you learn from that, Check Party? What takeaways can you share with the class? Moon says same execution as monohaver, just that they have fewer methods. Gotcha. Well, that's what Moon says. Let's see. What did Checks? What did you learn though? Tansford just said, doing great. Thank you. I'm glad to hear you're doing great. I'm glad to hear you're doing grand. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. All right, so we got our edges defined here. The one thing that's missing, and I don't know how to do this, is the level requirement. I want to add in here requirements, and I don't know how to quite get them in there in a way that feels reasonable. I almost feel like I need to do a custom editor tool to get these to work, or make a very weird object that contains all the information. Moon says, I'm putting all my states in scriptable objects now. It's working great. I am also putting collision in scriptable objects. Interesting. I'm curious. I know you had mentioned that before, the collisions and the scriptable objects. I'm curious about that specifically. Another thing that is interesting about scriptable objects is that they can be instantiated at runtime. And so one thought says, well, if you had like a big game with a big database, blah, blah, blah. Well, you could actually have a database store your information and you dynamically load those scriptable objects at runtime. So that is something you can do. It's not, I don't know if it's built in, but you can do that as well for bigger projects, which is cool. Lance says, I hate latency, camera weirdness. I just had a vehicle travel down one road with 4 cameras, but due to latency, the vehicle went down the road in a horribly out of order sequence. Interesting. Are you using Cinemachine, Lance? And it says you should use addressable if you want to load things in the game. Oh, I haven't learned about, we got to add that to the list of things to learn about. I don't know anything about addressables. Super curious about that. That's a word that's new. That is a new word for me. For anyone who doesn't know, people seem quite surprised when I tell them I'm not a game developer. At this point, I'm a game developing hobbyist. I'm a game dev hobbyist. Unity is a hobby. Lance says negative. In this case, it's real life camera stuff. Oh, gotcha. I was going, that's an interesting thing. I thought you were making a space game. Fascinating. Gotcha. I'm going down roads. I want to be able to get my requirements in here. Checksprice says, so natively run in both edit mode and play mode. Oh, scriptable objects natively run in both edit and play mode. Await gets called once created through code or through interface menu. On enable gets called on creation, and script recompilation and entered play mode. On disable and on destroy only get called when destroyed through code, not when you click delete. Ooh, that's it. I didn't know that last one. The on destroy only gets called when destroyed through code. No, I guess I made that sense. I think that makes sense to me. I'm not sure. Yeah, I ran into the on enable thing recently. There's also reset. That's true. Okay, so we have this. I need this idea of a requirement here. And I don't know how to, so the types of requirements I want are things like cost. You know what? I think those need to be placed directly on my skill data rather than these being requirements here. Yeah, I think that rather than having a skill requirement, the skill itself should have that data on it, and then we generate the required skills. Oh, I think that makes sense. Here. Interesting in that regard. I'm thinking. Yeah, I think the skill here should have requirements. Okay, I think that makes sense. Lance says, I've come to really like on enable and on disable with D/registering for events and the like. Still wrap my head around the events themselves, but really cool stuff. Check switch reset is only manually called. Yes, reset is called when an instance is created. An instance of a scriptable object. Yeah, you can also manually call it. Are you not supposed to manually call it, Muniz? Do you know? Let's see here. So we have our name, description, image. I want to add in a serialized field here. I think the way we do it is skill costs. All right, so we'll do something like this. Int required level, like this. Field, serialized field, public int, skill point, cost, skill points, required skill points, like that maybe. Yeah, so I was having a little trouble thinking that we needed to drag requirements onto the skills, but maybe it makes more sense to put required level, required skill points like this, because those two things, having a scriptable object for a required level or a required skill don't make sense. That's explicit to the skill itself. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with that. Checks replying to Lance about the unable. That's a good habit. Yes, it is. Moona says you can still manually call it like you can manually call awake and unable if you want. It's up to you, but I would recommend to have a manual reset for it to control your flow. Gotcha. Okay. So the one thing we had done previously in our skill tree on day 2 was we added in the that Sacred Oath required level 3 and alignment good. Oh, this is interesting here. An alignment requirement. That one feels like it's a scriptable object. Lay hands, level 2. So in lay hands, we'll say that, okay, so what I'm gonna do, let's set the default value for these to be level 1. Okay. And required skill point is going to be level 1 as well. Checks Party says, I know reset is called when you manually find it in the component or scriptable object inspector buttons. Didn't realize Unity called it automatically as well. No, I think when you like create a new one, it is called, right? So for example, well, you could do it this way too. This will clear out all my things in there. I think I don't want to do that. If I do reset, it clears those out and puts the default values. All right, but we're gonna go through. Can I multi-select these and set 1? You can also do that. All right, so for lay hands, this was level 2 requirement. And for our Sacred Oath, this was a level 3 requirement. And just for fun, we'll give some of these multiple skill point costs just so that we can see that in the tree. When you call the new, yeah, so I think it's the same if you call, here, let's test this. I'm curious. I have all these things here. Let's add a reset here. Public void reset, debug.log reset. I think this is called when you create a new one, isn't it? So if I do this, we're about to find out. Chester, so what's the point of calling reset automatically upon creation when you have awake? I gotta get rid of, there's some debug logging I gotta get rid of somewhere. Create folder, what is this? Which file am I in? This is skill data. Create skill. Yep, so reset's called when you instantiate it there as well. So I was pretty sure that was the case. All right, we're gonna get rid of that. Lance replying to Check's Party says, I'm still very shaky on specific events, but yeah, if I'm gonna learn something new, I'm trying to learn good habits through all the confusion. Yeah, so that's sort of where I say, I always say, well, I've been learning Unity for a few months. It's because I've been learning how the correct way to do things since January. Before that, I'd played around with Unity on a couple game jams and hacked things together very, very quickly. With just saying I'm just gonna force it. I'm just gonna force it to happen. Now that I know a lot more, I really like Unity. Before I didn't like Unity that much. Muniz says seems to be only in editor mode. Specifically reset, Muniz. Wake happens at different timings checks. It's a good question. We might have to read some documentation to find out the exact details. I don't know. All right, so we got our skill tree data. Got our skill data here. This is gonna require some specific requirements on it. I think Checksbury says, yeah, I'll do some research. According to the docs, reset is called when the user hits the reset button in the inspector's context menu or when adding the component the first time. This function is only called in editor mode. Reset is most commonly used to give good default values in the inspector. Okay, so called only in editor mode. It will never be called on your behalf during play mode. That is good to know. I think that's good to know. Okay, let's go here. We have our skill points, we have these things. We have our skill data. So those requirements will be sort of generated for us. Adding component, I thought we were talking about scriptable objects. Yeah. Let's add in another field here. This is gonna be a field, serialized field. This will be public list requirement. Skill requirement data, requirement. Get private set. So part of me feels like we could potentially have more of these with like custom editors, but I'm not going to worry about that. So we have, but required level, required skill points is going to be like things that they all require in my mind. Check says adding component. I thought we were talking about scriptable objects. Mooney says scriptable object is still a component. Still a component. Is it? Is it a component? So let me see. Can I come over here? I have an event system. Can I do add? It's a Unity object. It's still a game object. Yeah, so its parent class is game object, but it's not a mono behavior. So it's still a game object, I believe. So if we looked at scriptable object, it inherits from Unity's object, which has these things. Yeah, name, blah, 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 destroy, find. Yeah, and so I guess it's not a game object. Game object's a subclass of this. Interesting. I thought it was a game object, but it's a Unity object. Fascinating. Fascinating. I didn't know that. Now I know. Kind of. I'll probably forget very quickly. And then I'll say something along the lines of, oh yeah, I feel like I knew that. Okay, so these skills have additional requirements. So one requirement I might be able to make here. So rather than having a level requirement, let's get rid of level requirement. That's a dumb, I think it's a dumb level requirement data. Move to recycling bin. Skill requirement, we're gonna create a new file called alignment requirement dot CS like this, and this is going to be an extension. It's going to extend this class. It's going to be an alignment requirement, menu skills alignment, skills requirement align. Why can't I spell? Why does alignment? My hand wants to type that H. Check says everything in Unity is a Unity.object. That makes sense. Check says I think the docs made an error using the term component. That's really confusing. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. All right. So this should extend our skill requirement data. Skill requirement happens to extend the I requirement. Needs a name and a description. Okay, so the alignment requirement, this one is also going to have a field. Oh, this one doesn't have these fields. Shouldn't have those. So we should be getting those from our parent. Serialize field. Let's get Unity to recognize me. Let's take a look here. Get it to build. Shrink this. Come back to that. All right, now it has it. Specifically, we want to have I need to make a new file align. My hand really wants to put every time I type a G, my right hand wants to do an H, even though the N is under alignment. We're gonna make this an enumerated type. So public, using, why didn't I add the namespace in there? Hang on. Ooh, this is interesting. This namespace isn't right. Like this, a public enum, it's just an enum. Because the alignment is good, neutral, and evil. Those will be our alignments for now. Good, neutral, and evil. Public enum alignments. Okay, and so then our alignment requirement, you select one of these. We've got second for next. Thank you for following me. Second for next, I'd like to welcome you to Captain Coder's Academy, where we learn to code, we grow some, we do lots of fun things here at Captain Coder's Academy, I'd like to welcome you. Second for next. Welcome aboard, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. It's so nice to have you here. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you being here. I am a computer science educator, computer science teacher. I teach programming at a school for ages 10 to 14. If you have any questions, program related or otherwise, do not hesitate to ask. I'm happy to entertain any questions you might have. Just keep them family friendly. And also, backseat coding is highly encouraged here. We learn so much when we backseat code. So please, if you see something, say something. I can't promise I'll always take your suggestion, but I will always attempt to entertain it. So do not hesitate to ask. This is going to be an alignment requirement, like that. So our alignment requirement is going to have a public list of alignments. Why can't they do an alignment here? Alignment, public enum alignment. Alignments. So you can have basically the alignment requirement lets you specify any set of alignments. Freaky, welcome to the crew. Freaky, I'd like to welcome you today to Captain Coder's Academy. We welcome Freaky today. Freaky. Thank you for following. I love that you are here. Freaky TIF. Welcome to the crew, my friend. Happy Thursday. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be in the world. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Welcome aboard. As I say, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. We are learning to code together here, my friend. Together we will learn to code. So backseat coding is encouraged. Questions are encouraged. If you have a question, I'm sure someone else has that same exact question. So do not hesitate to ask. I love when you ask questions. Feel free to boozle me, but don't bamboozle me. All I ask is you don't bamboozle me. All right, I think I gotta do a full reload on this window. Mugatu says, good morning. Love to start it with this opera voice. Opera voice. Mugatu. Welcome aboard, Mugatu. So happy to have you back, my friend. Thank you for such a compliment. I love singing. I don't know when I started singing on stream, but singing brings me a lot of joy to energize me. I hope it doesn't annoy people too much, but I'm so happy to have you here. All right, so this is telling me that my entity type, I can't do so what's interesting here is iSkilled entity is no longer my requirement. I need to of a skilled data. Oh, this is so interesting. Yeah, Mugatu, though, I hope you're having a beautiful day. How the heck are you, Mugatu? So this is telling me this meets requirement needs to almost have, so our interface for iSkilled entity needs to be, or not iSkilled entity, our interface for iRequirement needs to have a character type. A character type that we pass in here. So there's something that we got to revise this because I'm not going to be able to have my explicit character type here. An iSkilled entity of T, this skill type doesn't give me enough information about my entity to do it. So our iRequirement needs to be revised. So I'm going to open up that library. So this is a good little thing that we've just discovered here, or an interesting little thing that we've just discovered here. In our core library, the iSkill requirement, the generic type, this needs to take in a character C. So I'm gonna put a C here for character type, and this, or E. I'm gonna put E for entity, E type. So we take in an entity type like this. And E happens to need to implement iSkilled entity of type T. So we have to actually have a T and a T. So we have an entity type and a skill type. Why doesn't it like E here? The T cannot be used, the type T cannot be used as a type parameter. There's no boxing conversion for T to I skill. And T is an I skill. Is that right? How do I do that? And do I do another where? Ooh, can I do 2 where clauses? I need to do 2 where clauses. Mugatu says, I'm good, Captain. How about you and chat? I'm doing fabulous, Mugatu. It's a beautiful morning here. I get to wake up and code. I get to have a beautiful day here waking up and coding. I love it. I love it. All right, so I need to have 2. Do I have to put T first? Where T... How do I specify 2 generic types? All right, C#, where 2 generics. Let's see if that helps. Generic syntax for multiple type parameter constraints. Let's see here. I just do another where. Fascinating. Check says, scriptable object execution order reset is not called during creation in play mode, and also on disable is called every time you recompile and enter play mode. Confused yet? A little bit. So we need another where. So it's saying the typical way. Ooh, fascinating. So we do 2 wheres like this, and that perhaps the more legible, the more intelligible way to write this would be to put the wheres like this. Okay, so our I requirement has an entity type and a skill type. And so maybe I should make this an S, an E and S. And so we say that this is our skill type and E is our entity type. I'm gonna put this like that. Format, this is fascinating. Okay, so we're gonna do this. This might cause some issues. Will it build yet? Let's check it out. Checkspark says, I guess on disable is called because the memory is being wiped. I don't know either. Restream bot, Ben Smith, you need another where clause. Ben Smith, the YouTube chat came through a little slow, or you might be a little bit behind. But thank you, Ben Smith, so much for your suggestion. I didn't know I thought I could do a comma or something. But yeah, fantastic that we learned something new today. I love when we can learn something new. Trying to learn something new every day. Let's make sure this builds, .NET build. And then we're gonna make sure that we don't have any sort of, probably should add in that the type constraints here for E, does not build. Got lots of problems, and we got 8 problems. Add skill requirement T. Yeah, so the skill type that should be passed in. So our has skill requirement should now be an E comma T. And so, yeah, we got to update all of these things. Where T is that, and then where E extends I skilled entity of T. That's right, Checks Party ET. We got some extraterrestrials coming at us. I requirement ET here. A requirement acts as the predicate. I'm a little surprised that this does not implement. And now this would be our entity type down here. Yeah, there we go. And then this E is saying that I need to specify it here. This should be E comma T. E comma T almost sounds like I'm saying an E comedy, which is interesting to me. I think this is telling me that this E does not have a patching type param. Yeah, so we gotta add a documentation concept. Weird accent came out there. E, the entity type. Okay, so we have our entity type this way. Let's keep going. I skill node now as an E comma T. This is good stuff. So where E extends entity iSkilled entity of T. For now, gotta clean this up. iSkilled node E comma T, like that. This is the part where I was saying we're gonna learn. So remember my learning goals. One of my learning goals from day one was exploring more generic types, so understanding generic types a little bit better. I kind of understand generic types in the general sense, but in C# I haven't used them extensively. And so this makes sense. We have an entity type, we have a skill type. You're gonna define those two types. Checks, are you nesting generics into generics? It depends on what you mean by nesting. I haven't nested a generic inside of a generic. So this is kind of like a dictionary where my type requires two generics. I don't know that you could nest them. I don't know exactly what that means. Yeah, so this is an IEnumerable of skill nodes. So this are the children nodes we get, and they have a type ET where we have like our entity type. Okay. And then down here, meets requirement, this actually needs to take in an entity E like this. And so I probably need to go through and rename these generic types. Can I rename this? This one's up here. This should be E, the type of entity that can learn this skill. Okay. And generics allow us to generalize. I'm gonna rename this to S. There we go. I should do that in our skill requirement as well. We already did it there. Has skill. I'm gonna rename this to S. And this is an iSkilled entity. Oh, that didn't rename it there, of type S. That's interesting. That doesn't rename it like this. Checks. Were you using interfaces when you were doing your editor scripting stuff like the map generation? Let's go see what interfaces I have. I don't know that I had a lot on that one. Captain Coder, org, dungeon. Let's go here. Let's go look at it. I don't think so. Interfaces are like used to swap things out. Let's see what interfaces I came up with in this one. So I hadn't yet learned how to use external DLLs yet. And Immortal Kid says S for student, type who can learn, and K for knowledge might be good generic types. Student and learn. Yes, indeed. Do I have many interfaces in here? What's interesting, MMOpug wrote a thing. Renderer. Let's look at my editor scripts. I don't think I have very many here, if at all. It didn't seem... Again, I wasn't generalizing this idea. I wasn't necessarily built... So one of the reasons to use the interface is I want to generalize the idea. It doesn't look like I was using them very much in this particular project. If at all. I may not have any. Good question, Checks Party. It's so like in this one, I had a very specific implementation in mind. One of my big goals on this is to write a library. Did I lose my internet connection here? Am I still here? My internet seems to have died, or GitHub has died. Can I refresh this page? I think I'm still here. Yeah. So my answer is I don't think so. I don't think so. Why is the scripts taking so long to load here? But yeah, it looks like this one didn't have very many interfaces. I was still writing these extensions each time. Like pulling around it. I do have an interface, iGenerator table. So the generator table looks like this, so that way I could, So yes, in certain spots where it felt appropriate. That said, I didn't use many. It looks like I wrote at least one, but not many. Good question. I was gonna rename this ENS, okay. And then here, the has requirement, skill builder tree, again, we need an E and an S. I'm gonna rename this to S. And then where E is an I entity and skilled entity of type S, where like this. Chessman says, maybe interfaces can solve my issue. I have 2 data classes which store 1 or 2 similar variables. You can interface to handle bold class types. I totally forgot about that. You just got to be a little careful because if you're wanting to access it in your inspector, you won't be able to serialize it there. You have to do some tricky stuff to get it serialized there. You can do it. We did it in January when we were working on the Adventure Quest project. But it's quite, there was quite a workaround to get it to work. I would like to, again, generalize that at some point. That's a project idea I have in mind. The entity type that will be able to use this skill tree. Okay. And then this becomes a skill tree of E and S. All of these are going to have to do that, E and S. Cannot has skill requirement E. What is this saying? Cannot convert from Captain Coder skill tree ES to Captain Coder skill I requirement of down here this is just not done. This refactor's taken a lot of effort, I believe. E and S like this. Let's go from top to bottom. Let's correct these from top to bottom before things get a little bit out of control. Okay, there's an inheritance way then, since that is serializable. So yeah, you could use inheritance to do it as well. Let's look at has skill requirement. Has skill requirement takes an E and an S. Yep. So that should be okay here. Once we're done with this add method, because this is requiring an I requirement of S. Okay, so yeah, we just got to keep getting these here, propagating this through. This should be E comma S, E comma S. Our skill tree is going to have an E type now too. Okay, so I got to go to my I skill tree first. E comma S. S, this will be an E comma S, E comma S, get node, where E is an I skilled entity of E. We are using that a little bit. I skilled entity of S. There we go. Okay. Let's keep going here. E comma S. New skill tree of E comma S. Root clone. This should be a skill node of E comma S. Renoir. Renoir. Renoir, welcome to the crew. Renoir, Renoir, the captain welcomes you. Renoir, welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. Welcome, my friend. I would like to welcome you again. Welcome, Renoir. Welcome to the crew. Captain like to welcome you. Renoir, thank you for the follow, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. It's so nice to have you here, my friend. How the heck are you on this beautiful Thursday morning for me? Beautiful Thursday morning. I hope you're having a beautiful Thursday morning as well, or afternoon, or even where you happen to be. If you're not aware of it, Captain Coder is me. Me is Captain Coder, and me is a computer science educator. I teach computer science and programming at a school for ages 10 to 14, and this stream And the stream is dedicated to learning and coding and growing together. We do a new project here every week, maybe sometimes every 2 weeks. One time it took 3 weeks, 21 days on one project. But we are here learning something new all the time. Our goal is to learn, ask questions, backseat coding's encouraged, just keep it family friendly. This stream is a family friendly stream. But Renoir, it's so nice to have you here, my friend. I hope you're having a beautiful day. All right, so we're refactoring this here. And if you're curious what the heck we're working on, we got a little blog I try and keep up to date. I've been doing pretty good at keeping it up to date so far. But we're on day 4 of this, the first 3 days. If you want to go back and check them out, they're here. But we're building a skill tree, specifically a tool for making skill trees. Not just a skill tree, a tool for making arbitrary skill trees of a specific form for an RPG. But the goal is to make it so we can use it in an upcoming game jam. But yeah, if you want to check out what we have so far, this is what we have, and we just discovered something that needed a relatively big refactor, actually. So we're in here trying to refactor all of this, and now it's just saying that I need to. We're almost there. I think we're almost there. What is this complaint about? The interface does not implement. Oh, because I gotta finish these. ES. Okay. Woo! That was a lot. Let's go in here. Let's fix this documentation just a little bit. E, S. E, S. And then luckily we wrote unit tests, so our unit tests will tell us right away whether or not we really broke anything. This was just a what I would consider a what would it be? A non-critical type refactor. So we are essentially adding some type data to this. It shouldn't affect too much of our testing. That said, the meets requirement chunk might cause some issues. And our unit tests probably don't compile anymore, actually. UXML is an unknown word. Let's add this to our user settings because we're gonna be seeing that a lot. Okay, so we got those errors to get away, but now I bet so this is gonna build here. Our tests will probably fail, but we'll find out momentarily. So our tests fail now. So it's not part of this project, but it's part of our skill tree tests. So let's go look at our tests. So it's our skill tree here. Unity skill tree, this is the Unity portion. Now in our tests, we have errors. So let's go fix those. So problems requires 2 arguments. Okay, so what is our entity in this case? We essentially need a mock entity implementation. This is really, really interesting to me. Because our skill tree, we're gonna need that now. Okay, so we have to make a mock entity like this. And so a mock entity should extend iSkilled entity of type mock skill. And then this will accept this here. And for now, let's return a new hash set mock skill. So I'm curious if we can still use our mocking tool and don't have to explicitly do it. I'm really curious. I don't know if that's true or not. Mock is for unit testing only. I don't know if specifically unit testing, it's very useful for unit testing if you want to have something that acts like something else. That is what the word, so the mock sort of is defined that way. I've used it mostly in unit testing. That said, I've done it in some sort of like bot type stuff. So like web scraping, I've done it to mock. But yeah. So it's like, it's a thing, but it doesn't have like necessarily a full implementation is sort of the thought behind it. Does that make any sense? Skilled entity. Oh, can I do this? Hang on. I might not need to mock I skilled entity of mock skill. Okay, so I don't actually have to make this type, I don't think. Yeah, I don't have to make this mock entity type. Sweet. The idea though is a mock is like, it pretends it's something, but isn't that thing. Does that make sense? Okay, so this type is a little crazy. Can I write type aliases in C#? I would love to have a type alias I could just substitute in here. This is also one spot where the var, VAR might make sense. Notice how giant these types are getting. Because I'm doing some mocking stuff. I'm mocking it up. I know we can do usings. I'm not importing anything. That's sort of the thing. Type alias C#. Type in namespace aliasing. So let's look at that. Age monkey, I'm curious if we can do it here. I know I can, when I import it, I can do it. I don't want to receive notifications. I'm coming. Using C equals. So let's see. So I would want to say using skill equals mock skill. So like I kind of want to do this. Using entity equals this. This is sort of like what I want here. Check says mock is because it's interface, since you cannot instantiate interface. That's where you typically use mocks, yeah. The typer namespace iSkilled entity could not be found. What if I do captain coder.skilltree.iSkilled entity of mock? Okay, we can do this. Age monkey, for your contributions, my friend. 50 points to you. This is cool. This is cool. So now I can just, instead of doing mock skill, I can just do skill. I can just do skill. So let me do a quick search and replace and see if we break everything. Mock skill, replace with skill. There's a lot of these. We'll do this. Skill. Skill. This is nice because if I were to swap that type out at the top, this is cool. I would not recommend this in most circumstances. It's called an alias. Yeah. So this is a type alias. So now I should be able to replace this. Did not like mock skill here. It can't, okay, so you can't use the alias, it looks like, in that spot. That's okay. But I want to replace this with entity. And it doesn't show up anywhere. That can't be true. It's iSkilled entity skill. So I need to replace this with entity. It doesn't look so bad with that replace all. Okay, that's kind of cool. I don't know if this is a good thing or not. It makes writing that a little bit easier in that regard. That's a cool little thing to learn, I think. Are these actual issues? No, they're not actual issues. I got rid of that. Let's do another build here. Let's see if this, will it build, folks? Will it build? I don't know. It will build. Will it pass our test? Do our tests still pass? We'll find out shortly. I don't think I changed implementation. I just changed type. So the test, if they don't pass, that would be very sad. All of our tests pass. Fantastic. It's beautiful, folks. It is BEA beautiful. I love it. Okay. So I'm not sure how I feel about this for that, but it does make it easier to read and go, oh, that's interesting. And if you wanted to swap out your types, you could. That's cool. I really, really like that. In Haskell, I do this type of thing all the time, and so I didn't know we could. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. This is something new I learned today with this aliasing like this. Okay, so now we've updated that. Let's go ahead and build it. Let's get it into our Unity project so we can actually use it now. Now our Unity project's gonna blow up all over the place. Okay, let me do a quick commit. Git status, git cd. I guess I could do it through this as well. Let's this is specifically our core library. Let's see if we changed anything significant here. Just quick eyeball on this, make sure I format all of these. Sneog13, welcome to the crew. Sneog, welcome to the crew. Sneog, welcome to the crew. Ooh, I can't sing that high. Sneog, Sneog, I'd like to welcome you to the crew. Sneog, Sneog, I'd like to ask you, how are you? Sneogs13, welcome to the crew. Thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Happy to have you here. Welcome aboard. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know. Is it Sneak? Is it Sneeg? It might be Sneeg. However I'm pronouncing, if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, please let me know. I want you to feel welcome here. I want you to feel like you are a member of the crew, because you are. We are learning to code together. We're growing together. We're learning C#. We're learning Unity. We're doing all sorts of cool stuff here. If you have any questions, program related or otherwise, do not hesitate to ask. That's why we're here, to learn and code and grow together, my friend. And backseat coding, highly, highly encourage backseat coding, because that's how we learn so much. I've learned so much because of people backseat coding. For example, we got our good friend Moonniz here, folks. If you don't know, Moonniz, incredible streamer, folks. Incredible streamer, working on a Metroidvania game currently, codenamed Moonvania. It's awesome stuff. I've learned so much from Moonniz. Moonniz has been here backseat coding, helping me out. I've been over on Moonniz's stream, all sorts. He's taught me all, like just about everything I know about Unity. Give him some love, folks. Check out that stream. You'll learn something over there. And he's just a nice guy. Super chill stream. Hit that little heart.
Do it. Do it. Click the heart. The captain needs you to click the heart. Do it. Why haven't you clicked the heart yet?
All right, folks, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for having to endure that weirdness of mine, for having to endure my weirdness. 50 points to all of you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. We also got Ekio. Ekio is here. Ekio, I welcome you. Welcome to the crew. You are now one among us, one of many coders. Ekio. I don't know how to pronounce that. Please correct me if it's wrong. Ekio. How are you, my friend? Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. I am Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me, and me is a computer science educator. I teach computer science and programming at a school for ages 10 to 14. I love my job. We are here streaming, learning and coding and growing together. My pronunciation is correct, even though I said it 3 different ways. So I'll try and be consistent though. Ekio, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions, program related or otherwise, do not hesitate to ask. If you have anything you'd like to contribute as far as backseat coding go, that is absolutely welcome here. We love backseat coding at Captain Coder's Academy. That's how we learn together. I've learned so much. Like I said, I've learned so much from all the suggestions people had. I can't promise I will always be able to answer your questions or engage in exactly, the thing that you want, but I will always try to entertain it, my friends. So welcome aboard. Happy to have you here. All right, so we just did a feature update, add entity type to requirement. This should be really refactor, and refactor throughout code base. All right. But yeah, what are we working on? You might ask, well, what the heck are you working on? We try and do a new project here each week. We don't always successfully do a new project. Sometimes it's a couple weeks. Usually it's one, or lately it's been one. Lately it's been one. But the project we're currently working on, there's a link to it here. I try and keep a blog on the last 2 projects. I'm gonna try and keep a blog on this progress we're making. But we've done 3 days on this skill tree. So we're trying to implement a tool for creating skill trees in Unity and C#. And we've made some progress. We're on day 4 here. So far we have, in the UI builder, we've built an explicit skill tree. But we implemented yesterday sort of this tool that lets us automatically connect the lines between them. So in the UI builder, you can sort of drag them around and reposition them. So today our goal is to see if we can dynamically generate this. So given a programmatic skill tree, can we pass that into a tool that will generate this tree for us? And then you can drag it around and customize it. That's our goal. That's what we want to do. But so happy to have you here. Okay, so I just did that. We realized as we were building this up that we were missing a type. I wasn't able to have the correct requirement type in Unity, so I had to refactor my library. So we've written an external library that's just the logical portion of a skill tree, and we realized that, oh hey, the requirement, our entity is going to be a different type in each different project, so we need to use a different type of generic to say, oh, a requirement has an entity type and a skill type, not just a skill type, because those entities in this case in the game that we're building here is going to have different properties. I can't believe this compiled. That blows my mind. Is it because we didn't actually do a build? We didn't actually do a build here. This bash build is going to move my library over there. Now it should rebuild, and I should get some errors. If I don't get errors, something's gone wrong, because this is not the type we have anymore. Ben the Rat, hello Ben, how are you, my friend? It's so nice to see you again. Welcome back. How are you doing? You're making a game about a robot, right? How's your game coming along? Feudal society, feudal society. Our society is so feudal, and we have feudal society following. Feudal society, I'd like to thank you for following me. Feudal society, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. I hope it's a beautiful day for you. Ben the Rat says, I'm doing bready fantastic. How about you? I'm doing fabulous, my friend. I am doing fabulous. Any day I get to get up and do some coding is a fabulous day. Something's gone wrong here. My libraries aren't compiling properly, because these types shouldn't be this way. 1 sec, something's not right. These are not hang on. These should have new DLLs in here. Do these not have, the new DLLs aren't getting moved over properly. Let's see here. In our plugins, Captain Coder. All right, I'm gonna delete these. And this is gonna cause some issues. When I run my build, it should automatically put these in here for us. Ben the Rat says, I'm making a new robot player because I gotten a better idea. Awesome. And new better animations from. Excellent. I'm super excited to see what you come up with. This is crazy. Okay, there it goes. I'm super excited to see what you come up with in that regard. Please do not forget to share it with me. The captain wants to know what you're doing. And folks, if you didn't know, we do have a Discord. We do have a Discord server where we have this awesome little community forming. You don't have to join. If you want to join, you can, but this is where, the reason we're doing an inventory system, or the reason we're doing a skill tree, is it was suggested on the Discord. Suggest projects here. We also got ask for help. You can get help if you have questions, but also I want to see what you are working on and share your work. Tell us. Show us what you're working on in the Share Your Work channel. I'd love to see what you're doing. So feel free to join the Discord if you're not there. No pressure, but you can join if you want to. No pressure, but you can join if you want to. You can join if you want to. Why don't you want to join my Discord server? Why don't you want to join my Discord server? No, I'm kidding. I know we all have a million Discord servers. What is my build script doing? Is it not adding this in here? Did it add those back in? Maybe I need to make it remove them. or it's not copying the latest version. I don't know. This is okay. So put them in here. Why are you not complaining more? There we go. There we go. Now it's complaining. We got complaints. We've got complaints. Yes, so we need to create a data type for our character in this specific game. Okay, cool. So in our demo, we're gonna create a new, do we need a scriptable object for our character? Or should it just be an interface? Let's start with an interface for our scriptable, for our character and go from there. I'm gonna start with a scriptable, sorry, not a scriptable, this is not skills. I wanna go to scripts, create a script. Ben Smith, is learning Unity a good place to start game dev? I've not done game dev specifically before, but I have a solid command of C#. That's an excellent question. So let me make this class real quick. And so I'm gonna call this my player character. Okay, so I'm gonna have an player character. And my player character is gonna extend the skilled entity of skill data like this. Okay, give me just a second here, and I will try and answer that question. It's going to be a new interface this way. So let me start by saying that I am not an experienced game developer.
Pay attention.
That's right, an immortal kid. I gotta pay attention. I'm sorry I wasn't paying attention to you. Ben Smith. So let me start by saying that I am not an experienced game developer. I've only been learning Unity since January, end of December, really. I've been learning about it since then. I think Unity has been an awesome experience for me. Before that, I had used Unity to hack together some game jam stuff. So that said, I've loved doing game jams. For me, for my experience, learning the way I have learned game jam has been going through. So the way I have learned game development has been specifically through game jams, and this is partly because I'm kind of too busy to do game development, like on a big project. And so a game jam gives me the opportunity to say, okay, well, I'm gonna force myself to do something in 1 week, and then I know that time constraint, once I'm done with that, I don't have to worry about it. And so Unity has been a really good tool to make that possible, because you can make something in like a couple hours pretty easily, something that does something, maybe not super polished. In that regard, Unity has been an awesome experience for me. I hope that answered your question. That said, I would recommend this book for starting out with Unity. One sec, let me get my .chem open here. And Project Zeitsand, welcome to the crew. Project Zeitsand, thank you for following me. Project Zeitsand, thank you so much for the follow, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Captain Coders Academy. I'm so glad to have you here. Happy Thursday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. I hope you're having a beautiful day. How the heck are you, Project Zeitsand? How are you? And if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, do not hesitate to correct me. I want you to feel welcome here, and correcting and me getting your name right makes me feel better about welcoming you. All right, so this book, Learning C# by Developing Games with Unity, this is a good place to start because he teaches some good Unity practices in here. It's not the best, it's not perfect, but I highly recommend this book as a resource. Another place to learn Unity would be the Learn Unity site, but I feel like so many Unity tutorials teach bad practices. I'm not a huge fan of them. This book teaches decent practices. It doesn't teach you all sorts of anti-patterns. My original preference on Unity was that my original feelings on Unity was like, man, this teaches, I hate Unity. Initially, I hated Unity because a lot of the community, a lot of the tutorials teach you anti-patterns or suggest using anti-patterns and don't teach good software development practices, and that drove me nuts. That said, this book doesn't do that too much, doesn't do it too much. So highly recommend this book, Learning C# by Developing Games with Unity. There's a 2022 version that you can get by Harrison Ferrone. The packed books tend to be quite good as well. I hope that answered your question, Ben. I hope that answered it. Project Zeitsense, it's not perfectly pronounced, but better than most do. Well, I'm glad I got it better than most do. I do my best to try and pronounce things the best I can. So thank you for that. If you'd like me to pronounce it any other way, or if you want me to call you Project, if you want me to call you Zeit, if you want me to call you Sand, let me know. Let me know. I'll try and remember. But welcome aboard. Happy to have you here, my friend. Thank you for the follow. I missed some chat there. I think Lance had said something. Lance said, did I miss something? Lance, I think I saw something of yours and I missed it. Let me know if I missed it. If I missed anything in the chat, please let me know. And Immortal says, this is where the professor recommends a book they wrote themselves. I haven't written a book on Unity yet. I haven't written a book on Unity yet. You hearing that, folks? Yet. I have been working on a workbook for C# specifically, but this is like a super introductory book. The Adventures in C# book doesn't go into object-oriented programming. It teaches everything in my mind up to object-oriented programming. And then, the next edition, I may be coming up with I might be writing adventures in Unity. There's nothing here. Unity.captaincoder.org doesn't do anything, but it doesn't do anything yet. Doesn't do anything yet. That doesn't mean it's gonna do something sometime, but it doesn't do anything yet, folks. Okay, so let's see if we can fix this here. Our I requirement, you should have taken an I player character like this. MMO Pug, thank you for the Learn C# resources there. Yes, indeed, I do have some recommendations for learning C# specifically. C# specifically. Why doesn't skill data show up here? Skill tree.unity engine. That's interesting. This should be in the Unity engine demo anyway. Let's go over to the skill data here. This should be in the Unity engine demo. Okay, we're gonna put that in the demo here. And we should have access to it. Compile. Code Rad Game says, hey, Captain. Mooney says, I got caught up in work and missed the shout out. Thanks. You're welcome, my friend. You're welcome. Speaking of shout outs, do you guys know Code Rad Games? Code Rad Games, incredible indie game developer, folks. He's making a horrifying 2D Souls-like game, roguelike. You'll see that on the screen here. See that gorilla? That gorilla's gonna stomp you into the ground. It's gonna leave you as a stain on the floor. If you want a game that chews you up, spits you out, but leaves you begging for more, Roguelite's the game for you, folks. Coming to a Steam near you. We got it on the Steam page. Give Code Rad Games some love, folks. Hit that little heart button. You're gonna wanna be to check out Code Rad's game. Roguelite. If you want to get a demo key, all you got to do is hang out in his chat, get those channel points, and then redeem a key so you can get stomped into the ground like a plebeian, like I did. And then folks, click on that link. You're gonna come over to Steam. You're gonna hit that add to wishlist because you don't want to know when this game comes out. Game of the year 2024, folks. Game of the year coming soon to a Steam near you. Project says it is the name of the project. Zeitstand stands for times, or means time stand. Ooh, interesting. Can call me Juna though. I'm a female technical artist. Oh, awesome. We need more females in tech, folks. We need more women in tech. I'm so happy to hear that. Recently switched from Unreal Unity, am new to, have C# knowledge though, shader modeling. Shaders is something that I would like to do. I know nothing about shaders, but that's a project that someone has suggested on the Discord as well that I'd love to get into. I think someone suggested it. If we go into the project suggestions. Raycasting style render, explore shaders. This is one of my top things to do. I want to explore shaders. I've never written one. I would like to explore writing a shader from scratch. Maybe not from scratch, but learn about them. So shaders is something I'm super interested in. So Juna, I'll try to remember it. I'm going to forget, but I'm going to do my best. Juna, I would love to have you around when I'm doing that because I'll be able to pick your brain. You'll be able to backseat code. That's right, folks. Backseat coding, highly encouraged here. Highly encouraged. And Immortal Kid says, creepy monkey time. Let's go. That's right. That gorilla is going to stomp you into the ground, Immortal Kid. Muna says, Project Zeitsan, welcome to the Unity world. Yes, welcome aboard. We are learning together. I'm learning a lot. Okay, so we got lots of errors. This makes sense, though. This makes sense because we changed this. skill data. Let's go to our skill data. Ooh, all the, okay. So this is because the namespace on these was wrong. This should be .demo. Maybe it shouldn't be .demo. That's an interesting thought. I don't know if that's true. Maybe they should be part of the same namespace. Skill tree, skilled entity, skill data does not. Let's keep going in here. Let's add these all to the demo package first. I know for sure that's something that we're gonna have to do. I need to get rid of this debug. Hang on. Do a quick search. Debug .log. Line element. Go away, you. Go away, you. No one needs you here. That said, I do want to understand that a little bit. Oh no, it's been 90 minutes since the last week. Let me get these compiler errors fixed. The compiler needs to stop yelling at me. Stop yelling at me, compiler. I didn't mean to hurt you. I want to fix these up. This should be skill requirement. I skilled entity. This should be I player character. Once we get this in there, that switches to our demo. Yeah, it's break time, folks. We got to take a break, but I don't want to leave with these compiler errors, and this hopefully shouldn't take that much longer to fix here. So I'm gonna do my best to get this through, get this done, get these errors compiling. Why is this alignment requirement I player character? Why can't any of this compile? I skill data. All right, real quick. Skill data is missing. Oh, because this should be in skill tree. Duh. Okay. Does that fix a lot of these? Almost all of them. And this one, I player character. I requirement does not implement interface member. Oh, now it's just saying that this should be an I player character here. Player character. Perfect. All right. Will it build? Will it build? Will it build today? We'll find out momentarily. It built, folks. All right. That said, when we come back, we're gonna keep working on this. We're getting close. We didn't meet that first goal before the break. I always try to make that first goal before the break. We're not there yet. We're close. We made some progress. We found some issue with our library. We rewrote the library a little bit. We're refactoring it. All right. Ben the Rat says, done. I send the new robot player in Discord. Awesome. Remind me when I get back if I forget. But when we get back, we're gonna do some stretching. We gotta take care of ourselves. So get the whole crew together. Get your family, get your mom, get your dad, get them in the room. We're gonna do some stretches. Get your dog. Your dog wants to stretch. Maybe you got a cat, your parrot, your parakeet. Maybe you got a gecko. Get that gecko in here. That gecko needs to stretch. We're gonna take care of ourselves, folks. I'm gonna get myself some more bean water, get myself some more regular water, and we'll be back. Hang tight, grab your bear, and bear with me. All right, everybody. I'm so sorry I left you hanging there. I hope your fingers aren't hurting from hanging on too tight. You can let go. You can let go because the captain's back. I got you. I got you. And you know what it means, folks? I got myself a new cup of bean water. It's too spicy. It's a little too hot for my tongue. We got to do something while it cools off. We're going to take care of ourselves. The captain loves you. The captain loves you. That means you should love you. Hey.
You in the back. Pay attention.
Pay attention, folks, because this is for you. The captain loves you, which means you should love you. And if you love you, you should love your body. If you love your body, you got to take care of yourself. So everyone get on up with me. Get on up. Get on up. We're going to do some stretching. We're going to do some stretching. We got to take care of our bodies. You got to take care of our bodies so our bodies last nice long. If you're like me, you're a code troll. Maybe you're not a code troll. Maybe you're a cave troll. Are you a cave troll out there? Cave trolls need love too. So get on up. We're going to do some stretching. We're going to do some stretching here, so get on up. We're going to start doing some body rotations. Body rotations, arm up at the side, and gently rotate your body side to side. Don't snap it side to side. You don't want to pull. You don't want to pull nothing. No, you don't want to pull anything. So you don't want to pull nothing. That means you want to pull something. Is that right? Pull it. You don't want to pull. That's double negative. We're going to go back and forth. Really get that back. Oh, as you get to the side, push it a little bit. No pain. Just a little bit of tension in the back. Work nice and gentle on your body, nice and gentle on your body, but taking care of yourself, getting that blood flowing. All right, hands up, and we're gonna lean side to side like this. Get that nice stretch in. Try not to, I'm gonna move a little closer to the camera here so you guys don't have to see. My shirt's not long enough to keep it from showing you a little bit of my belly there. So I apologize for the little belly show. I apologize. I know most people don't want to see that. So we're just going to stretch side to side here, really taking care of ourselves. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It feels good. I hope it feels good out there. All right, let's start doing some crosses. So you're going to start up like this, and you're going to bring it down and stretch down to the side. Then bring it up and down. So just doing these X's. Up and down. Up and down. But if you can, really lean into it. Make sure you're feeling that tension as you're going, getting that nice stretch in across, getting that body moving, getting that blood flowing. It should feel wonderful. It should feel good. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, folks. It's lovely. It's wonderful. All right, bring it back up to the center here. We're going to take in a deep breath. Stretch up. Stretch up. Up on those tippy tops, up on those toes. Breathe normally. If you need to, shoulders, feet parted wide. No, feet, shoulder width apart if you need to for balance. Engage that core and reach up. Reach up. We're going to hold this for 15 more seconds, folks. Hold it. Deep breaths, though. Make sure you're breathing. Don't hold your breath like me. I'm sitting here holding my breath. Woo! Woo! Nameless coder. Hello, my friend. All right, folks, we're going to take a deep breath. As you exhale, slowly roll that body down, hinge at the hips, and you're gonna hang here. Just hang, hinge at the hips. Don't try and arch your back towards the ground. Hinge at the hips, hinge at the waist. You're stretching out your glutes here, your lower back. Keep those legs straight, but don't lock the knees. You don't want to cut off that blood flow, because you don't want to faint. And we're just gonna hang here for 20 seconds. Breathing in and out, nice and smooth, nice. Oh, yeah. If you can touch your toes, awesome. If you can't touch your toes, that's okay. We're working on it. We're working on it. We gotta do this stretch. Oh, yeah. It should feel great. I cannot believe I can touch my toes. That's insane to me. Oh yeah, we're gonna take a deep, we're gonna breathe in slowly, not a deep breath. We're gonna breathe in slowly for 5 seconds. As we breathe in, roll that body up. In, roll up, shoulders up, back and down. We're gonna do shoulder rolls back. 2, 3, 4. Add the elbows. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3, 4. Bring it forward. 2, 3, 4. Add the elbows. 2, 3, 4. Full arm. 2, 3, 4. All right, shake it out. Shake it out. Thank you so much for joining me in those stretches, folks. I know you did. I know you're taking care of yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to love yourself. You got to love your body. You got to love the person you are. The captain loves you, and so should you. So should you. So should you. Add some points. We're going to give some points to everybody, folks. 50 points to all of you for loving yourselves, loving your body, taking care of who you are. And Nameless Coder, welcome aboard, my friend. You came at the perfect time. I hope you got yourself a stretch in. Nameless Coder, how the heck are you on this beautiful Thursday? How are you? We're going to switch back here. We're going to hop back into it. We're going to see if we can't finish these scriptable objects representing our skill tree components. Okay, so I defined a simple type here for our player character. One of the things the player character is going to need is a level. So what's interesting is our library, our skilled entity, there's no S. If you want a game where you don't have levels, you don't have to make a skill tree with levels. So we're adding that specifically to our player character. So our player character can have a level, get, this just an interface has a get method for level. And it also is gonna have a get method for skill points. Those are the 2 attributes we currently care about in our skill tree. Oh, we also have an alignment, actually. Public alignment. All right, so that's like good, evil, neutral. Those are the 3 alignments we're allowed. Good, evil, and neutral. Okay. So our player character has this. This will tell us now when we come over to... Sorry, my body needed that. In the middle of the sentence real quick. That happens to me frequently. I'll be in the middle of a sentence and my body's like, you gotta have some coffee. Get that bean water in. Does that happen to anyone else or is it just me? Mid-sentence, my body just like my hand is working on its own. Is that a right brain, left brain thing? I was reading a paper where it's sort of talking about, oh, I forgot to reset my break. Sorry, timer, reset, break, right brain, left brain thing, where I was reading a paper where it's sort of saying how each hemisphere of the brain, each half of your brain is almost like an independent person and there's like connections, they can talk to each other. But sort of like as I'm doing something, as I'm talking, one hand will reach over and start doing something on, on my body's behalf. Dramel says, no, it's just me. Gotcha. Choak Footle says it happens to every coder. You hear that, Dramel? You're not a coder. You're not a coder. You're not a coder. I'm just kidding, Dramel. You're an incredible coder, my friend. You're an incredible coder. I've seen it. Dramel says, of course I'm not. I never said I am. Don't lie. I've seen your game. I haven't seen the code. But I've seen it. Dramel says, I just do stuff. I do stuff with things and places with stuff and things, in quotes. Sometimes I do things maybe, possibly, with the intent of potentially having a result. Gotcha. Okay, so here we go. We can make some, this is interesting. All right, please build. Won't you build for me? Please build. I want you to build for me. Building the domain. What does that even mean? All right. I have this thing that can I do this? Is this a thing? Windows. I don't know. All right. Sorry. I got distracted here. I tried to set up some workspace desktop thing. Anyway, don't worry about it. Don't worry. I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. Here we go. My code here. All right, so let's close all of these again. I was creating an alignment requirement. So it's saying that you can create a specific set of alignments, alignment requirement. Yeah. This was the thing. The requirement, this is what made me realize that this was not defined properly because I didn't have my entity type. I had the interface, but I need a specific to my game entity type. So in this case, we're gonna say alignments.contains the player entity's alignment. So we're going to return if the player has any of the alignments that are specified, then the player character meets those requirements. So we have an alignment requirement. You can specify any combination of alignments. We're going to say if you have some combination of any of these things, you'll meet the requirement. Okay, so in this case, what is the error telling me? Use block body for method. Why? Oh, no. What's the warning? Use the new keyword. We got to say override. Override. And then in our parent, we're going to make this a virtual method. Like that. Okay, there we go. All right, it's happy to do it, folks. It's happy to do it. So let's create an alignment that is like good only alignment. A good only requirement. Okay, so requirement, we're gonna create a skill, create skills requirement alignment, good only requirement. We're gonna say that this is good alignment. The hero must be good. And the alignment requirement is specifically the good alignment. Okay. If we wanted to make it so you could be good or neutral, we could do this. So you could make one called, for example, this would be not evil requirement. You could make one that says, okay, not evil. The hero may not be evil. This one's gonna have 2. And the first one is you can be good or neutral. And we could potentially write one that sort of calculates the inverse, but you could also do it this way. So we have a good only, we have a not evil, excellent. So now on our skills, specifically we're saying that the sacred oath requires that we have a good requirement. So level 3, 2 skill points, good. Okay, so I think we're able to define, this is why I say when we're super close, we've defined a skill tree this way. Programmatically. So we created scriptable objects. That was our first one. Create scriptable objects to represent skill tree components. All right, so we can actually, we've defined it here. The last little thing I want to make sure is that I want to edit this script specifically to say, okay, there's a method that I want. Given a skill tree data, can I construct an actual skill tree from it? So we might say something like, well, let's make this thing a skill tree. We could say, well, this thing's going to be a skill tree, or implement skill tree. I don't know if I want this to be an I skill tree. It happens to be an I skill tree of I player character, comma, what would the skill data? We could do it this way. And then we implement this interface. I don't think that's what I want. Instead, I'm gonna make it the skill tree data has the ability to build one. So in this case, we'll say public I skill tree of I player character, comma, what's this other thing? Skill data. Yeah. So we can make a skill tree with this, and we're gonna call this build tree. And we're gonna use the skill tree builder we had previously to construct this thing. XD says hello there. In a very fancy way, programmatically saying his greeting. Maybe their greeting. Sorry if I assumed your gender there. So sorry, XD. Welcome aboard, my friend. Welcome back. So nice to see you, XD. Hello there. How are you on this beautiful day? How are you? How is XD? So we essentially are going to have to do a builder. So we'll do a skill tree builder of iPlayer character, comma, skill data, skill tree, a builder. I'll have it be a new one like this. The root node should be root. Okay. And at the end of the day, we're going to return builder.build. So the build method should construct one of these things. XD says, thank you, and I'm good. What about you? I'm doing fabulous, fabulous, fabulous on this beautiful Thursday morn. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. XD, what are you coding? That's an excellent question. So this week, as you may know, you probably know this, we do a new project here almost every week, sometimes not quite every week. We are working on a library for a skill tree. Working on a library for a skill tree. So there's a link to it if you missed day 1, 2, and 3. We're on day 4 of building the skill tree. So more specifically, I want to have a tool that can be dropped into a variety of projects to build a skill tree that meets, it's a specific type of skill tree. Oh, good question. What's a skill tree? Okay, so in an RPG, it doesn't have to be an RPG. In a game, you might have different abilities that you can acquire. So we call these skills. And so, for example, you might start out with the heroes. You might be a hero. So this might be like your paladin trait. And you can acquire the spell casting ability. So you spend some points, you get the spell casting ability. When you level up, you can say, okay, well, I want to choose spell casting, but you might also choose this skill called divine sense. And so it defines sort of requirements and how you can progress and level up your character in a game. So that's what a skill tree is. Did that answer your question, XD? So lots of game use skill tree. We're trying to define a library that'll make it relatively easy to create skill trees, a variety type of skill tree, a variety of different skill trees that in a different game, in a variety of games. Does that make sense? Do the goals make sense to you, XD? So the last 3 days, we built the library to construct the sort of like back-end logic of a skill tree. And then yesterday we built a UI for a very specific skill tree. And now we're trying to write, today my goal is to write a program that will dynamically generate. So given a skill tree definition, can we generate a UI for it? That's sort of what we're going for. And we got El Bandito, El Bandito, El Bandito, welcome to the crew. El Bandito, El Bandito, how the heck are you? El Bandito, welcome to the crew, my friend. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, happy Thursday. How the heck are you, El Bandito? Welcome aboard. XD asks, can you explain it more and simplify? I can try. I'll do my best. Thank you for asking for clarity, because that likely means someone else wants some clarity. So, for example, in a game, let's say I'm making a game where you can play a paladin, okay? So you play as a paladin in this game. So you have the hero, you're doing a hero skill tree. So I play the game a little bit, I fight some monsters, I gain some experience, and I level up, and that awards me a skill point that I can spend in my skill tree. So at this point, the user, the player, has a decision. El Bandito says, I'm fine. I'm glad you're fine, El Bandito. So I've leveled up, my hero the player now has a choice to make. Do I want to spend that point to go get divine sense or spell casting? Which one of those things do I want to spend my point on? You can't spend it on both. You only have the one skill point. So you might say, okay, well, I want to start spell casting. So you select spell casting. All right. Now you level up again. You level up again and you're like, okay, now I can actually get lay hands as an ability. Can I get the lay hands as an ability? Ben the Rat, thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. Do I want to get lay hands or do I want to get divine sense? Maybe you play the game a little bit and you're like, oh, if I had divine sense, there's some secret I can get if I go back. And so you say, okay, well, now I have the decision. Do I want to get lay hands or divine sense? All right, so you end up with divine sense. You level up again, you go like, ooh, now do I want sacred oath or lay hands? Which one? So it sort of gives the player some choices on how they progress their character. So what's the play style that they want? Was that clear enough, XD? Did that answer your question? Ben the Rat. Let's check out Ben the Rat posted on the Discord, folks. On the Discord. Let's go down to, where did you post? Is it in your game? Billy Bob's Adventure Unity game. Beautiful. Let's check this out. I'm gonna click follow that so I get notifications open in full view. Look at this. Here's the new robot player named Billy Bob. Very nice. Very nice. I love your style here. I love your style. I would recommend, so there's this program you can get called Screen to GIF. I'm not going to say that word because people will get mad at me. That you can actually record your screen. So let's say I wanted to do a recording of myself using some tool like this. So this is a free program. You get Screen to GIF. All right, you can click record. You can record what you do. Record what you do and you hit stop. Okay, and this will let you save it as a WebM or GIF file, but you can save this now. So that Screen to GIF, yeah, I like that. I'm gonna start calling it a GIF. I like that. You don't have Discord on your PC, gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. You gotta record on, fair enough, Ben the Rat, fair enough, fair enough. I just wanted to say the quality of that video isn't the best, but I get the gist, Nice work on that robot. I like the eyes being like this. Those are eyes? Those, or some kind of sensor. They look like eyes. I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. I love it. Okay. I'm gonna hop back in here. So I want to make a program where we can specify our skill trees and then have it dynamically do it. XD says class skills has a public points of spell cast. A equals spell class plus points return A. I think so. I think you got it. I think you got it. So I've defined it, let's call this Paladin skill tree. So this is the Paladin skill tree. We've defined this as how we get there. So we set the root to the hero and we define each one of these. Now I want to use my builder to build it up. So for every, so we have our root like this, and now I'm gonna say for each edge in edges. So we loop through our edges here. I'm gonna do builder dot add skill from e.parent to e.child. So we're constructing our tree here this way, but there's also requirements. So we have a couple requirements here. So our child skill data. Oh, this is interesting. We also want to say what are the requirements for our root node. So there's a couple requirement classes that I'm missing. Okay, so I've specified on my skills in this specific game, there's a level requirement and a skill point requirement. A level requirement, a skill point requirement, and then these have additional requirements that could potentially be on them. So I need to construct a class that represents a level requirement and a skill point requirement. Okay, so I'm gonna create a class in my script. I'm gonna do it through, new class, new file. Oh, I'm gonna do it actually here so it'll get the namespace right. So my scripts, create C#, this is gonna be our level requirement. And then we're also gonna have a skill, a cost requirement. Okay. And so I'm gonna go to my level requirement here. This isn't gonna be a mono behavior. Instead, that's gonna be an I requirement. Why is that not showing up? One sec. I think there's just some compilation issue we gotta fix. There, why are you telling me there's an error here? What are you talking about? Go away, you. Already contain, oh, there's something already called level requirement. There, the namespace already contains a definition for level requirement. Let's find level requirements. Oh, it's because I have two files. They have different names, but their class name is the same. So this needs to be our cost requirement. Okay, that should go away now. Oh, wait, say this should be an I requirement of type I player character skill data, like that. And maybe I should define a new type that is an interface that has both of those, so I don't have to keep typing this out. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Why is it saying it can't find skill data? Oh, because I'm dumb. Because I'm dumb. Okay. We've done something really, we've done a silly thing here. This should be captaincoder.skilltree Unity demo. All right, let's apply that. Throughout, let's break everything, folks. Will it build? Will it break? I don't know. We're about to find out. Hang tight. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. We've got it now. We've got it now. We've got touch me, following me, touch me, following me, touch me. Your name is interesting. Thank you for following me. We've got touch me in the stream. Welcome to the crew, my friend. Thank you for the follow, Touch Me. And we also got Tony Quadri. Tony Quadri. Tony. I'd like to thank you for following me today. Tony Quadri, welcome to the crew. You are at Captain Coder's Academy, and I'd like to welcome you. Tony, thank you for the follow, my friend. Let me know if that is not the correct way to pronounce it. I apologize if it's not. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. I am Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me, and I am a computer science educator, a computer science teacher. I teach computer science and programming at school ages 10 to 14, but this stream is dedicated to learning to code together. So if you have any questions, program related or otherwise, do not hesitate to ask. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you have, so long as they're family friendly. I like this to be a family friendly stream. We're gonna get the whole family in the room. Bobby, Susie, little Billy, little Tina. Get them in the room with mom and dad, and we're gonna watch and learn together. That said, backseat coding is highly encouraged, because that's one way we learn together. Is if you see something, say something. Why are you doing that, Captain? Maybe we could do it this way, Captain. Let me know what you think. We got Big Juicy back in the house. Welcome. Tony says, you are 100% on point. That's an African name. I'm glad I got it. Tony Quadri. So happy to have you here, my friend. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the crew. Welcome. All right, so our level requirement specifically is going to need to have an int in it. So we're going to say public level requirement takes an int level or minimum level like this. And it's just gonna set, we're gonna have a field here, minimum level, and we're just gonna set that. And I'm gonna have to create that variable equals minimum level like this, but we'll create a property, public int minimum level get private set. We'll make this an immutable type. Remix, he says, hey Cap, do you prefer using VS Code instead of Visual Studio for C# development? Good question. I prefer Visual Studio. You may notice I'm using Visual Studio Code, but I prefer Visual Studio. It has more features. It has more features, has more stuff built in specifically for doing .NET development. That said, Visual Studio Code is a nice lightweight option that is cross-platform. I work at a school where it's a bring your own device school, so my students come with a variety of different computers, different operating systems, different backgrounds. We use Visual Studio Code for all of our programming classes: Python, JavaScript, C#, Java. We have a class on some Lewis stuff, web development. And so we want a single tool that the students can learn well. So that's one of the things I'm using Visual Studio Code for specifically, is to learn myself this tool, because I'm not an expert in Visual Studio Code. I'm not an expert in Visual Studio either. I've only been using C# and .NET stuff for about 19 months, less than 2 years. But great question. I think Visual Studio Code's a great solution, a great option, especially if you don't have a beefier computer. Visual Studio I think it takes up like 2 or 3 gigabytes of RAM just to run, or when I'm developing my Blazor site with it, it's like 3 gigs of memory. That said, it has lots and lots of features. Yeah, I think Writer's another option, but it's a beat. So Visual Studio Code's not an IDE, it's a fancy text editor with plugins. Visual Studio is a big fancy IDE. Okay, so the level requirement here, we're just gonna say does entity dot level greater than or equal to minimum level. That's an easy requirement to have there. Okay. And then we need to, what do we need to do? Our cost requirement is going to be very similar to this. Our cost requirement is going to be very, very similar. Cost requirement is going to have a cost variable and a cost. And this one's just going to say, does the player character have, why do you hate me? Skill tree. Skill point. All right. Okay, so the cost requirement works that way. So we have a level requirement and a cost requirement. They're very similar. They just have a different type on them. We could do a crazy, not crazy. We could do an abstract, so like a cost, a point requirement, and you do something like that. But this is simple enough. I don't want to do it. Remixy then asks, now the big question. Have you tried NeoVim? I have not tried NeoVim. That's an extension for VS Code, correct? I will say that when I was younger, Vim VI was the tool I used a lot, and then I became an Emacs fan. So my editor of choice, my text editor of choice happens to be Emacs. I haven't tried NeoVim. XD says, if the absolute value of V is greater than min level, no, not absolute, that's LVL. If level is greater than or equal to min level, do a skill ++, well, level. Interesting. I don't quite understand that. Well, basically, that's going to be part of like, we're going to have a thing called like buy skill, purchase skill, that we'll be able to say, okay, add that skill to the character. But you're close, yeah. NeoVim's its own editor. Gotcha. I know that there's some extensions for like Vim emulation for Visual Studio. I haven't used it. And I've thought about the Emacs emulation here, but I decided not to do that specifically because I want to learn all the default hotkeys and teach my students the default stuff. It's a pain to set up, but initially, but really responsive. That's how I feel about Emacs. I feel like Emacs is a pain to get set up, but man, Emacs, once you get it going, it's awesome. AgeWake says NeoVim is a better version of Vim. Gotcha. Okay, let's see here. Did you know Vim is, it's just VI was the tool before Vim. It standard for Visual Editor? Why is it VI? What did VI stand for? And IM is just Visual Improved. The M is for improved. Okay, so we have these level requirements now. So the idea is when we, in our skill tree data, when we build this thing, we need to add those requirements. So we're going to do builder.add requirement. And the requirement we're going to add happens to be our root. And the requirement is going to be new level requirement root dot required level. Add requirement cost requirement. That's going to be our root dot skill. What is it? Root dot required level required skill points. Why doesn't it let me do that? Cost requirement. Cannot convert cost requirement to a. Oh, I didn't say that this is an I requirement of I player character, comma, skill data. I didn't say that. Okay, so we've done this, and then in our skill data tree. Okay, so we take those, we add those requirements, and then there's one last one that says for each I requirement. I think I want to change this a little bit here. For each I requirement of I player character skill data in requirements in root dot requirements. I think I need to make this a little bit better. So I'll do builder.add requirement root requirement. So we need to add all of these like that. And then we need to do these same things. So I don't like this repeated code here. So now in addition to adding all of these in there, these need to be on the e.child. e.child. So root becomes e.child. So notice I had this copy and paste thing here. This is a lot of room for some typos, a lot of room for errors. And I essentially want to do this thing. So I'm going to write a private method to abstract this here. So I'm going to write a private method, private void, private, I think it can be static, private static void, add skill, and it's going to take in our skill tree builder of iPlayer character, skill data builder, and then the skill that we want to add a skill data to add, I'll just call it skill. And it's going to do this. And so I'm going to replace skill data, root with skill. This is our skill that we'd like to add. All right. So notice as I needed to put this in two places, so I abstracted it to an add skill method, add skill. Now I can do builder root, and then down here we just, after we add the skill like this to the builder, then we do the top level add skill from builder and then e.child. All right, so this should construct our tree. I'm hoping this should construct our builder for us based off the specification that we have in the UI. Muniz says, are you winning, son? Are you winning? There's so much winning, Muniz. There's so much winning. I'm tired of winning. I'm so tired of winning. There's so much of it. So we have our paladin skill tree. We just made it so that we can do the builder here. I'm gonna call this add skill to builder, just to keep it away from this add skill here. And so this, I believe this is working. So I think we just finished, Muniz, to answer your question, we just finished our first task for the day. I know it took me a little longer than I wanted to. I wanted to finish this before the first break, but that's okay. It took a little longer, but we made it there. We're gonna do a commit. We're gonna commit all of this goodness. We're gonna click here, we're gonna click our commits, we're gonna get it going, we're gonna add it in here, we're gonna add this in here, call this a feature, implement skill build tree on skill tree data. That's the biggest thing, and then there's a bunch of other stuff along with that got added in. Additionally, let's add a little comment here. Additionally added scriptable objects. Added necessary scriptable objects to allow construction of tree. All right, folks, commit that. We're gonna push that up, and we just crossed it off. And for being here to witness this, for being here for this momentous occasion, everybody, you know what you get? 50 points, that's right. 50 points to all of you beautiful folks out there hanging out, learning to code, growing with me. That said, folks, did you know today's stream is brought to you by the letter I? You didn't see that down on the scroll bar. I stands for ITC Studios, folks. ITC Studios is an incredible and amazing indie game developer in pixel art. She's currently working on a 2D action RPG called Anomaly. Saw that beautiful pixel art on the screen? That was hers. You've seen my intro screen, folks. My intro screen, beautiful, beautiful, done by the incredible, the amazing Woomy over at ITC Studios. Give her some love, folks. Hit that little heart button. Give her some love. Gotta go check her out. Amazing stream, very, very fun. Check it out. Tell her the captain sent you. She'll know what that means. The captain sent you, because it means what it means. All right, folks. XD says, what is point used for? Good question. So the idea in this particular implementation would be that points are on my stream. Good question. Not ship. Shop. We got a ship shop. We have a stream element store. Good question. I thought you were asking what points are used for in the game. We have a stream element store. You can redeem a couple things. There's a couple things you can redeem. If you want me to pay attention to you, you can pay attention. Maybe you want someone else to pay attention. If you think something looks good, you can get a seems good. You want to check out, you may have noticed. You may have noticed I'm a board game enthusiast, an enthusiastic board gamer, a gamer of great proportions. If you want me to show off one of my board games, if you want to check out one of my board games, just let me know. Let me know, just a couple points there. You gotta try redeem seems good. Try redeem seems good. All right. If you wanna, if something's wooing you, feel free to roll. If you're disappointed, cloud of disapproval is a good option for you. If you want me to sing you a song, we can generate an AI song and I'll sing it to you. If you want me to tell you, seems good. Thanks for the seems good, XT. That's right, it does seem good. And then if we have one of these, I'm surprised no one's gotten it yet, but we got this C# and .NET Ultimate Bundle for a mere 18,000 points, folks. A mere 18,000 points. You can get yourself a C# and .NET bundle. I'm amazed no one's already redeemed this. But it's good stuff. It's excellent. That's right, XT. It does seem good. Thank you so much for the seems good. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you being here, my friend. Okay, so we got that first one marked off. We got that first item marked off here. So we're gonna implement, okay, so now we need a thing that will build up our elements. So I kind of want this idea of a skill tree. Sorry again, folks, my body is saying, drink coffee, get that dark fuel in your body. Made sense. Oh, so the thing I want to do now, we got about 40 minutes. It might go a little long. We might go for 40, and we might go for another hour. Might go for another hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. That's the max I can do. An hour and 10 minutes is the max I could do, because I got work. Unfortunately, the work calleth me in an hour and 25 minutes. So an hour and 20 minutes is about as far as I can go. Let's see if we can implement an iSkillTree transformer. So this is going to be an element. The idea being that in my UI toolkit, my UI builder, I should be able to create an element. Just add an element called skill tree. Select my skill tree from my assets, and then click a button, and that will render my skill tree. That's what I want to be able to do. Can I do it? I don't know. But we're gonna try. So just like our line element here, we're gonna start by creating an element. All right, so let's come over here. I'm gonna steal my line element here. Where is it? Line element. Oh, this is interesting. All right, so this is gonna be our copy here. XD says yes. Okay, so this is gonna be our skill tree element. Wondering if this is right. UI button.open skill tree. That's right, we want a UI button.open skill tree essentially. Skill tree element. I'm gonna sneeze, hang on. Thank you for, sorry about that, but thank you for waiting for me there. All right, so our skill tree element, it doesn't necessarily have this. Instead, I want it to have a button I can press that will add a bunch of children components to it. And so I'm curious if I can do that. So I'm not quite sure I can. And so we almost need this idea of a renderable skill tree that I'm missing here in my editor, because I can't actually reference any of these things. So I almost need so I think I'm gonna need one more thing. So let's come down here. I'm gonna get rid of these things. I'm gonna create a field here just for now called asset, or skill tree asset. Okay, and I don't know how to get that thing using my attributes yet. So we're gonna call this skill tree assets. And we might do it from a path, probably not. We probably gotta find a better way to do it. It's gonna be our skill tree asset for now. Skill tree element. Skill tree asset, like this. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have gotten rid of that init. Let's get that init back in. Like this. Init here is going to take in a skill tree asset, and it is going to set our skill tree asset equal to skill tree asset like that. Okay. XD says skill tree equals tree1.tree2.tree. Maybe function open skill tree. Yeah, that's kind of what we want. Return skill tree. Something along those lines. Let's see if this will build real quick. But the idea being that instead, so we're gonna create a. Let's get this compilation error to go away. Init. This shouldn't be line. This should be as skill tree element. Tree1.tree2.tree3.tree4.tree5.tree6. That's right. Tree.tree.tree.tree. All the way down. Trees all the way down. Turtles all the way down, folks. That's exactly right, XD. Trees all the way down. Each node is actually a tree, which is interesting to think about. Okay. We have this. So in my project, we have Paladin demo UI. Didn't we put a UI thing here? Skill tree. Where's the UI? Or is that up here? UI Paladins. Oh, this was this. So this is gonna be okay. So down here, we're gonna copy this down in here. This would be more along the like Paladins generated skill tree. So the idea is rather than explicitly having all of these things, instead, I can add in a skill tree element like this. And then over on the side here, I should be able to set the asset. I don't know how to do that yet. I don't know how to do this just yet. But I want to see if I can just get this thing to generate for now. So I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna write a method here called generate, public void generate. And it's gonna take in a skill tree. We need it should be a skill tree builder. Okay. Lance says, I'm heading home. We'll chat with you when settled. All right, Lance, safe travels, my friend. As always, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime, Lance. This should be in a namespace. captaincoder.skilltree.unity engine. Right. Format that. So this generate ideally should take in a skill tree, not a builder. It's like an I skill tree of specific type. So it's like a like renderable. Well, no, I skilled entity. The entity I don't think matters. The entity I don't think matters. Is this yeah, this is interesting. This is interesting here. I skilled tree entity, and then we sort of need like an I renderable skill. So we need this idea of a skill that has an image associated with it. Skill tree. All right, so I'm missing a type. So this is telling I skilled tree. I'm missing a type here. I'm missing a couple types. This should be of an I renderable skill. I skilled entity of an I renderable takes in a skill tree. This is interesting here. Let's see if we can define these two types. New file, I renderable skill. And we'll copy this namespace real quick. This should be an interface I renderable skill. This is going to extend the I skill. Let's see if this will build. But more specifically, it needs to have, and what did I call it in my demo? I created the skill data. The type called was image. So we need to add in this getter type here. So this one's gonna have a get, and comes from the Unity engine using Unity engine. This is why this one falls in the Unity engine. It says, well, so if you have a renderable skill of type E for entity E, where E, does iSkill have an E type? What does iSkill look like? iSkill doesn't have a type. You don't have to have a type there. All right. Does this still build? Well, it wasn't building before actually because my types didn't line up. Can I clear those out? Okay, those aren't real. But now in our skill tree element, we can say, okay, well, we want this to be an iRenderable. Let's reload this window so that it'll get here. This is one of those things. So someone's asking about Visual Studio versus Visual Studio Code. I feel like I have to tell Visual Studio Code, hey, you know, we have these weird phantom issues, and I just sort of like reload it. And it's like, okay, figured it out. So that's one annoyance thing. All right, so but if we have a renderable, and of course my computer doesn't think the word renderable is real. So if we do this, just say, I feel like I've added that to my user settings over and over again. All right, so the idea here is using this, we can generate node elements. Okay, so there's gonna be some node elements I have to be able to create here as well. Either that or just visual elements with the backing images set properly. Oh, I might be able to do it just a visual element actually. But it might make sense to make a subclass. Let's do that real quick. We're gonna create a subclass. This is gonna be our skill node element. And this is gonna be the visual element of a skill node. And it basically is gonna have an image inside of it and a specific set of styles. And then we got to sort of abstract, pull those styles out so you could change them. Yeah, that's right. So you'll have to change them. This is in our Captain Coder Unity engine. We need the UI elements here. I did not mean to do that. Gotta wait for it to load. Wait for it to load again. Wait for it to load again. We're waiting for it to load. Wait for it to load again. All right, so we're gonna format. Oh, still loading. Analyzing. Format the document. Okay, so the idea with this visual element, when you build, this one I don't think is a skill node. This would be a skill node element. So that's what it's complaining about here. This, I don't know if we want this accessible in the editor from like, yeah, you shouldn't be able to make one of these independently is the thought. What's this? I think this is just some fake warning. We'll find out though. Right, so I'm gonna try to get away with not making this so that you don't have to. This isn't gonna be something that you can make explicitly in the editor. You can only make it through the skill tree element. I'm gonna see if I can get away with that. So we're gonna do a skill node element, and this one's gonna have an iRenderable skill. And so the idea is we're gonna be able to come in here and when we generate this, we're basically gonna say for each, we're gonna loop through our skill tree. So we have to do our skill tree dot root. This is our root node. So we'll take a skill node element, skill node is equal to a new skill node element, this, okay. Cannot convert from this to that. All right, so my skill node element takes an iRenderable skill. What is the type of skill tree dot root? Root should be an iSkill node of this. Oh, so we actually need to make it have, the types are getting wild here, folks. The types are getting wild. The types are getting quite wild here. do I just pull the skill off of it? I think I can just pull the skill off of this though. All right, so we're gonna try it that way. Root.skill. See if we can get away. We might end up having to add in the whole node thing. We have to add in the whole node thing, I think, because it needs to know about the neighbors. Yeah, because when you construct one of these, it's sort of, yeah, so we do need to take that whole type in. That's interesting. All right, let's go forward here. This is the type we need. We're gonna use our alias here because we did learn about this. We're gonna call this node is equal to this thing. And so this is gonna be captain coder.skilltree dot iSkilled entity. This should actually be our no, this is still saying captain coder. Can we do using iSkilled entity equals captain coder dot skilltree dot iSkilled entity iRenderable skill. Can I do it this way? I don't think so. Using directive is unnecessary. Using the generic type requires 2. Oh, I have to give it an E. Okay. It's probably says I have to give it 2 types as well. Oh, just 1. So this should be of an iRenderable skill. Well, let me do that. To explicitly do that. Wow. Can I do using captain coder.skilltree.unity engine here? And then I don't need it. I'm learning about aliasing here. This is cool. I can't. I have to do that explicitly. Could not be found. Yeah, so I'd have to explicitly say using iRenderable skill equals dot iRenderable skill. Did I call it kill? It's in my Unity engine. Now it doesn't like that either. Okay, we're gonna do this for now. So our entities happen to be of this type. And then this would be of entity, comma, this thing. Elite Stomper, how the heck are you, my friend? So nice to see you again. How are you on this beautiful Thursday? How are you on this beautiful Thursday? This is nasty. This is nasty up here. But we're gonna say that this is our node. Wow, that type is nasty, but this is sort of the type alias for that. Could I do it? If I do my using inside here, can I get rid of that? Okay, so I can get rid of this. Can I get rid of any of these things? Looks like I can. So it looks like I should be able to do, okay. So it might make sense that I need to define my alias inside. This looks better. This looks better, assuming this is true and not a phantom success. Elite Stomper, it's so nice to have you here today. How have you been, Elite Stomper? How the heck have you been? Okay, so I can do it this way. iSkilled entity like this. It's telling me that I could use entity instead, but I don't need to now. Okay, cool. Okay, so the using alias, put it inside the namespace, and I don't have to explicitly call it all the namespace. This makes this node type easier. Put a little comment here. For ease of use, the node type aliases our specific renderable type. Okay, so the idea with the skill node element, when it has children, it needs to find the others. Elite Summer says, good. Be trying to help a friend with autism get a new PC because his is dying. Gotcha. How's that going? Have you had any luck? I do always find finding a new computer being quite fun, but that's just me personally. I hope it's a fun experience for you. But maybe not. Not good so far. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it picks up. I hope you can find a computer that works well for them, for him. I hope you find a computer that works well for him. I know finding a computer can be hard. I always have fun doing it, but that might just because I build my computers usually. I buy all the components and combine it together. Okay. All right, so we have this. I was thinking this might, yeah, so this might need some mutable properties. Let's set the children. I was thinking the skill node element references. We might need like a cache to know whether or not we've made a skill node element before. As we build this up, because the idea is this, so a skill node has children, right? So you actually have to make the children that you're connected to as well, but those go in your parent, I don't know. But we're gonna build out the skill node here. Oh, maybe we didn't need all that information going down. Yeah, I don't know that we need it. At least, yeah, me too. They are so expensive. A nice computer can be very, even not so nice. Computers can be very expensive. That's true. All right, so I think I'm gonna try this. We may not actually need this. This might be all the information we need to do it. And we'll add like an image component under the hood because the arrows between this are actually managed by the parent here. All right, so we actually do skill.root.skill. Okay, and then the idea is we need to like recursively add all of the other children nodes in here. So let's do that as well. In this case, we're going to, so we need to recursively go into each of our nodes. So I'm gonna write a helper method here, private void add node. Okay, so this is gonna recursively build our children nodes here. And this is where this type might be useful. This type here is our node type. Let me put this here inside of this namespace. And so our node type, node here, skill node, like that. And my idea is rather than doing it this way, pull this down here a little bit. In here, we're basically gonna add node skill tree dot root. So we add the root node in. This is gonna come down into our skill node dot skill. All right, so skill node dot skill. This is gonna be the element. Okay, so we construct it this way. Big Juicy says, if you remember our talk on styles, there's a Unity style guide as well. I think it follows most of C# conventions. So Big Juicy, can you send a link to that? I'd love to check it out. And in fact, if you're on the Discord, Big Juicy, I think you are. One of I think a good spot to put it for others would be in our resources channel. This makes it so people can search for it. I think this would be a really good spot. If you have a a Unity specific style guide, that would be awesome. I'd love to check it out. So feel free to post it there. That sounds really, really interesting. XD replying to Elite Storm says, try to run antivirus and kill unnecessary processes. Choose the right OS for the hardware. Make changes to BIOS if needed. Unity says, Moonit says, Unity uses M_, and I do not approve. Yeah, I'm gonna not do that. That feels not. I feel like no. I feel like I'm gonna not. Oh no. All right, so we have our element here. The idea though is this has children. So additionally, in addition to adding these, we sort of need to do a for each child element. So there's like a child. So for each node, child in element dot children, we need to recursively add that child node, right? So there's a little tricky bit here. Children doesn't do it. This would be skill node dot children. So this this is an add node. HT Kage, how are you? Toak Fodai says M underscore. Exactly. That's exactly how I feel. So this little thing should recursively add all those in. One thing that we're gonna run into with this, there's a little problem here. Does anyone see the problem with this recursion? Does anyone see the problem with this recursion? Major Regal, welcome to the stream. Major Regal, welcome here, my friend. Major Regal says this dot, and then this dot, hey guys. Hey guys! Major Regal, so happy to have you here this beautiful Thursday morning. How are you? Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, wherever you happen to be. Thursday morning for me though. There's an issue here. There's an issue here when we add these nodes. Do we see it? What is that new? Oh, I'm constructing a skill node here. So this is shorthand for the following. This is shorthand for this. So the recommended style is either to put a var on this side or to take it off of that side. Major Regal says naming convention for the member variables of a class. Yeah, so that M underscore is a naming convention that is often used for a member variable, which are often called fields. That is not the sort of C#. That's not the Microsoft recommended convention. Toak says, that is what I do, the var alternative. I don't like that. That's just my personal style. The reason I don't like it is you can't use it for if I did a private here, I can't use it here. It's not, you can't do it there because you need to know the type in this regard. So I don't like that. I think it makes, in my opinion, it makes it harder to read. It's not an infinite loop. Good guess, MMO Pug. It's not an infinite loop because we know for sure that our skill tree is a directed acyclical graph. So there's no cycles in our graph, but you're on the right track. You're on the right track here. Muna says, they seems like they changed the name. You're on the right track. And so I'll give everyone a hint here. We do end up with a problem between our spell casting node and our divine sense node. Notice they both have this same child. Has the same child here. So there's a little bit of a problem. There's a little bit of a problem in that we'll end up with two. If you have multiple parents to a node, you'll end up with that same node multiple times. You'll end up with that same node multiple times. So there's some things we could do about this. Essentially one thing we could do is we could create an iterator, and I think this is what I want to do. I think I want to create an iterator on a skill tree that says, give me all of the nodes in the tree. Give me all of the nodes in the tree. I think that's one way to do it. I guess connecting them all together might be a little bit tricky to do at that point, but I think what I want to do is in my I skill tree and my definition, I think I want, so we get the root, and from the root you can like recursively go find everything. But I think what I want to do is make it easy here is say, oh, get all nodes. I think I want a thing called all nodes. Push choice says, but that function doesn't do anything. Which function? Which function doesn't do anything? Elite Summer says, I think he has been trying to play first-person shooter games on a system that is not designed to play those types of games, causing overheat. Add node. This function does do it. Does this. Add node does this. This is add node. This does stuff. It does stuff. It does do stuff. I promise it does stuff. It creates a node element and then it recursively creates a children nodes. Toak Foda says you need to only add the parent as a parent point to the children. Why add the children too? I'm trying to construct the entire graph here. So I'm trying to create a skill tree element. You need only to add parent as the parent point to the children. Why add the children too? This is gonna build the visual representation. So I start here and then it's gonna start, I want this to dynamically generate my skill tree for me. It's just saying that elements is never used. Yeah, I haven't used it yet. This needs to get saved somewhere. So ideally, so the reason it hasn't been used is because we need to have a private variable to do something with it. Specifically, it's like, oh, private list of skill node elements, like children or nodes equals new. Essentially, I just need to add it to a list here so I can reference it, because we're gonna do a thing where we like diffuse them to like get them to go into like a reasonable spot. Nodes dot add element. So we do need to add it here. But the issue is our nodes, we're gonna end up with multiple of the same children. We're gonna end up with multiple of the same children. But yeah. So I actually think the way I want to solve this is in my interface for skill tree. I want to have I think I want something that's an IEnumerable node called nodes. So I think I'm going to go back to my library here. So we're going to come to our library here. And I think what I want is in my interface for iSkillTree, in my iSkillTree interface, iSkillTree, I think I want to do the following. I think I want to have a public IEnumerable of iSkill node of ES nodes. So I think I want to be able to get an iterator back that will get you all of the children. Returns an IEnumerable that contains each node in this tree, like that. It doesn't give you necessarily the order. Big G says, one of my instructors had me delete all private accessors. It's hard to see them now. Are you in C sharp? So in C sharp, the keyword private is sort of like implied. That said, it's considered bad practice not to use it. I'm surprised your instructor said to delete all of them. Okay, so this is gonna yell at me now in my skill tree builder because I have to return a skill tree here. And so now I have an easy implementation of this though. This implements a skill tree like this. I have to have a public IEnumerable of iSkill node, E comma S. Internally, this is a dictionary structure. And all this has to do now is look up dot values. This should be called nodes. So we can actually get our values here like this. So pretty easy little change here. Let's make sure this builds. Let's make sure our test pass. So cd captain coder.core.net build. Will it build, folks? We'll find out momentarily. And then we got to see if all our tests pass. All our tests should pass. We don't actually evaluate whether or not this is true. We might make sense to write this test. I don't think we need to. .NET test. Let's just make sure none of our tests fail magically. They should all still pass. There we go. They all pass. So get status. We're gonna go ahead and add this. Get add. Never heard they were bad practice. Interesting. No. Private is good practice. Private is a really good practice. Not having private explicitly is not the good practice. The convention is to put private there. It's just that if you don't put it there, it is the default one that's chosen for member variables and methods. Moon says explicitly writing private is good practice. Yes, exactly. We're gonna do a git commit here, and we're committing our changes. This was a feature, add IEnumerable accessor to skill tree. So in fact, say add iSkillTree dot nodes enumerable. Twat says FIU. For a moment, I thought you were saying otherwise. Yeah, no. Sorry. Sorry for the confusion. We'll go ahead and push this up. Then we got to rebuild this. XD says happy Thursday. That's right, XD. It is a happy Thursday. It's a beautiful Thursday. I am having such a beautiful day, folks. So my build here, let's see if we can get this to go through and get this implementation on the other end. Did this modify? Modified, it did modify them. All right, so we did get some new ones here. That's what I wanted. Skilltree.dll changed, fabulous. So we should be able to come over here. If we refresh this file, Oh, Unity needs to rebuild. Hang on. Unity, rebuild your projects. We're gonna get the new DLL, DLL, DLL. Okay. So we should be able to get all of our nodes. Then we gotta wire them up together. In a moment, every now and then we build a node. And I need you now more than ever. I need you to compile my scripts. Okay. So now if I look at my iSkill tree type, it hasn't reloaded though. Let me try, I'm curious if I reload this window. I am curious if this will give me that. Let it load here. In addition to Unity having to reload, it looks like I might have to reload Visual Studio Code as well, which is slightly annoying. There we go. So now we have the IEnumerable for the nodes. Okay, so rather than looping through all, recursively building it this way, the recursion happens specifically in our builder now, but now I can utilize this, say, for each IEnumerable, for each iRenderable skill. Is that right? What is skill? Hang on. I need the type here. Skill tree.nodes. Essentially, I want to do this. I want to do for each var node in skill tree like this. All right, so this is one time where var kind of makes sense. So I don't have to type out, oh, it's of type node. Cool. So we made a node type. Yeah, so we made an alias to our node type here. So I'm gonna get that node, and now I can add, so I can do skill node element, node element equals new node. Actually, I don't think I need this. I'm gonna need to be able to look up like their positions. Node.skill. And then really I want to add this to myself. So this is a visual element and we add it to this here. What I wanted to do to see if this would work in our UI builder specifically is take the tree that we have specified somewhere. So I need to explicitly build that tree. Ooh, this is hard. We have our skill node, skill tree data. I have one of these. I need a reference to it. So I have like my paladin skill tree. I want to get my paladin skill tree into my skill tree element so that way I can call the build tree here. In my skill tree element, how am I gonna get that? How am I gonna get that? I could do this path thing. Because I have my skill tree asset. I need to add in a custom object thing here. Can I do a UXML object attribute UXML root element? Can I what is this thing? Can I make a typed UXML attribute description comes from a UXML attribute description? Can I just make a UXML attribute description? This is an abstract class. Can I make one of these for my asset type? We're about to move into uncharted territory, folks. We're gonna see if we can extend this class. New file. This is going to be our skill UXML skill tree. Let's just try UXML object asset attribute. Okay, so we want to extend this class. Public class UXML asset attribute like this. It's going to yell at me. It's going to say I need to import this namespace. It's not a sealed class, so I can implement it. But will it let me implement abstract class? Default value as string. So the question is, can I get this thing in there? UXML typed attribute. Base class for all UXML specific attributes. Okay, so maybe I actually think I want to do this. And my type should be a, can I do, the type is specifically like a Unity asset, or I need to make it a scriptable object. Let's make this a scriptable object. Let's see if we can do that. Scriptable object. And so we got to use using Unity engine. Grumble of pugs. We've got a raid incoming. Grumble a grumbling, a grumbly, grumpy old pugs. Grumble of pugs.
Whoa.
Thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I appreciate you doing that. Welcome aboard. Anyway, hey folks, Grumble of Pugs. You gotta, did you know Grumble of Pugs just raided us?
Attention. Attention. Attention.
Hey,
You in the back. Pay attention.
Grumble of Pugs just gave us a raid. Hit that little heart. Give them some love, folks. Give them some love. For the raid here. Thank you so much. Raiders, welcome aboard. Welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. We got Red Cabin Games. Oh, we also got Red Cabin shout out. I bet it's not gonna let me give you a shout out. There's a cooldown, 1 minute and 30 seconds. Red Cabin Games, real quick, folks. Click on that name, hit that follow. Hit that follow, because Red Cabin Games is also an incredible streamer. Grimble Pugs, Red Cabin Games, gotta give them some love. Welcome aboard, welcome to Captain Coder's Academy. Rumble says, hey, hope everything this is going well. I gotta head to work. Have yourself a
You
beautiful
in the
day.
back. Pay attention.
Keep coding, keep growing, be the best you can be. And Grumble Pugs, you are welcome back anytime, my friend, anytime. That's right, XD. Pay attention, folks. Pay attention, because if you're not paying attention, you might miss something. So we are here. We're gonna call this a scriptable object. Scriptable object. If you're new to the stream though, folks, if you're new here, what are we doing here? I am Captain Coder. Captain Coder is me. Me is a computer science educator. I educate people on computer science programming. I work for a school, computer science and programming. We do ages 10 to 14 at that school, but in the stream, all ages are welcome. This is a family-friendly stream, folks. What are we working on this week? Every week, we try and do a new project. Sometimes a project takes 2 weeks. Sometimes a project takes 3 weeks. One time a project took 21 days, folks. That said, we try and learn something new every week. In this, PG-12 chat though, that's right. No, PG-11 teen. PG-11 teen. This week, we're trying to do a skill tree. We're trying to write a library for implementing a skill tree in an RPG-esque game. So our learning goals are to learn about, we want to learn about doing a graph data structure visualization, specifically using UI toolkits. We're making some progress there, which is coming along. The type of skill tree, we want to make it so you can drop this into any program, build a library for it. Any Unity project, that is, drop it anywhere, is you have a node, represents a skill. Nodes can have children. They can also have node children. So a node can have children. Each node, in addition to being required to have the parents of that node, you can add additional requirements. In this case, a cost and a level requirement. All right, so, but that's arbitrary. That's specific implementation detail that you could add using the interface, the requirement interface we've done. What do we have so far? So we're on day 4. The last 3 days we've been doing this. Day 3, we built out the first one. Dramel says, how are node children made? Well, you see, when a papa node and a mama node love each other very, very much. Oh, wait. No, that's not right. That's not right. No. Children node are made through an interface call. So we've put this together. In our UI toolkit now, you can actually add in, if you have your elements on the screen, we created these lines using the vector drawing tool API. So if you specify your start element and your end element, you can put stuff in here. Bio says, I might switch Photon VR to Photon Pun. So we created an attribute here where you can add in line elements between these guys. And then now in our UI editor, the thing I want to be able to do, and we're trying to get there today, I think we're gonna run out of time. Is make it so you can generate this graph by default and then you drag and drop your nodes where you want them to be in your UI. So that's what we're trying to do. To be able to get there in our UI builder, let me show you the UI builder real quick. I've created a type specifically for our tree. I would like to add a scriptable object attribute over here. It's not compiling right now, so we don't get it. But you can add your own attributes. In this case, these are string attributes. I want one that lets me put a scriptable object here, and I'm not sure if I can do it. I haven't looked up any details, but I'm just sort of fumbling my way through implementing this. Is this a sealed type? This shouldn't be a sealed type. Abstract class, UXML here. So we're trying to create an attribute class that we can get from the parent here. Why is this not letting me do this? So we're trying to implement this abstract class. What are you saying? What are you saying here? Why are you complaining? Implement class. There we go. Type T. This should be a scriptable object. Okay. So we're going to see if I do this. I'm really curious. If I do this, will this let me add this to our traits here? So can I now do a UXML scriptable object attribute? I don't know. Our default value is, can I do null here? Okay. And then I'm gonna just comment this out for now and see, will it build? Will it build? Will it build? We don't know just yet. We'll see real soon if it will build. It built, folks. It built. That doesn't mean it's gonna work, but let's see here. Do I got a slot? Do I got a slot here for my Captain Coder, skill tree, Unity engine, skill tree element? I'm gonna add this in here. I have a spot here for a skill tree asset, but I can't drag. All right, so it still wants me to put a string here. It wants me to put a string here, which is a little bit disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. So one thing we could do. Lance says, okay, home safe and sound. I'm gonna poke at dictionaries for a bit, see if I can learn about them before bed. Dictionaries, super powerful, super useful. Every programmer should have dictionaries in their belt. They're really, really fancy arrays, essentially. But you gotta know about dictionaries. You know, a wise man once told me, a wise professor once told me, if there's a problem in programming you can't solve, you can probably solve it with a dictionary. And then continue to say, well, and if you can't solve it with a dictionary, you can probably solve it with two. So the answer is, you know, dictionaries solve a lot of problems. Essentially, they're an abstraction that works a lot like a class, but is a little bit lighter weight than a class. So key value pair lookups, it's awesome. But yeah, welcome back, Lance. We're gonna go here for another 20 minutes, folks. So I don't know if we're gonna finish this just yet, but I wanna see at the very least if I can put a skill tree asset. I want to add, I think I might have to like override something to be able to get a drag and drop thing here. For now, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I think I'm going to cheat a little bit and do the following. Can I do, I want like a registry. Okay, I'm going to cheat a little bit for now. I'm gonna cheat just a little bit for now. We're gonna go with scripts. I'm gonna steal the asset path and load it from a path just so I can see whether or not this will add nodes to my you know what we can do? I've seen it in a demo. Where's our tree? Our tree is here. Can I copy path? All right, so what I'm gonna try and do, Let's switch this back to a string. Yeah, so it's a string attribute. We're gonna make this where you have to put the path in for now. All right, so we're gonna make it so you have to put the path in. And see if we can get that to work. So let's go to our UI builder one more time. In our skill tree, this is gonna be our path. All right, so the idea is we give this a path, and this should save in here. And what I want it to do is from this path, we should hopefully be able to load that in there. We shouldn't have to put the path here. We should be able to extend this somehow to let us drag in things. I don't know how to do that, so I might have to do a little bit of research off the chain, so to speak. That said, in our skill tree element, when we init, we should load, we're gonna load that asset. So we should be able to load asset. How do we do loading again? I can't remember exactly. It's like Unity editor dot, using Unity editor. And then it's a load asset. Hang on. There's a way to do it. Unity load asset. Loading resources at runtime. Loading resources at runtime. Resources.load. Resources.load. And this takes in an asset path. And the thing that we're loading happens to be a scriptable object. Let's see if this is true. Scriptable object O. And we'll do a debug.log. I don't think I want this in resources. I've done this differently. I don't want to use the resources folder. How did I do this on the last project? I did this on another project. Let's go look. I think it was in the inventory project. Inventory. No, it's asset database. Thank you, Dramulx. Asset database. Asset database dot load asset at path. This is what I want. Like this. Thank you very much, Dramulx, for your contributions. For your contributions to society, my friend. For your contributions. Hang on. Add points, Dramulx. 50 points to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your assistance. I appreciate it. Yeah, you gotta be careful with the resources folder push, Toy. I don't know all the details, but essentially they say you shouldn't use the resources folder unless you know what you're doing, and I don't. I don't know what I'm doing. That's right, Dramulx. We got some bean water. We got some dark fuel. Drink that water. Get it in our body. Get that lifeblood. Dramulx says, don't put 10 gigs of files in your resources folder. They actually kind of tell you in the documentation, resource folder, Unity, they say, don't use me. They say, like, don't. The resource folder is a common source of many problems, improper use, significant. Well, the problems that this folder make is less suitable for production application, can still be useful for prototyping. For full production of new projects, you should use addressable. Use it for scriptable objects only. Gotcha. Dramulx says, Pusher, yeah, I was just saying if you're using resources. Oh, gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just had the wrong thing there. For looking out for me, Push Toy. For looking out for the captain. Because I appreciate you. 50 points to you. Super Black Soul says, I've been lurking, but that seems rather long ago. You better want to take care of yourself. Yeah, we're getting close. I gotta stop here in 15 minutes, folks. 15 minutes. Dramulx says, Unity can't tell me what I can and can't. What I can and can't do, that's true. You do what you want. You're your own. You're a strong, independent coder, Dramulx. A strong, independent coder, and you don't need no documentation. Okay, cool. So it did load it that time. So I want to see, okay, so more specifically, I need a type that are scriptable objects. Okay, what is the Paladin skill tree scriptable object actually? We need something. I need this to give me back a builder. So I need this idea of something that can build a tree. Maybe this should be an I skilled tree, or an I has skilled tree, or yeah. So I need to at least have. This is interesting because so I need to have another type. I need to be able to reference one more thing. So I need an I has skill tree type. All right, so this is gonna have a thing that allows us to get it. We're gonna put you in this namespace. We're running out of time. Public interface I has skill tree. And a skill tree says I can has skill tree. No. It says I skill tree of type ET skill tree. So it's able to give you back a skill tree. I has nice grammar, exactly. I skill tree of type E. Oh no. So where E is an I skilled entity of type S. Hang on, we gotta put an E and an S on this. Do not the cat. That's right. We do not the cat. And where S implements, where E implements this and S implements I skill, like that. Okay. Will it build, folks? We're gonna find out. Something didn't build. This should be a get. We need a get on this. Get. And this should be an ES. Like that. And finally, thank you for building me. Okay, so now our skill tree element. This actually needs to return to us an I has skill of type of this type, of an I skilled entity, comma, an I renderable skill. Can I define, what is this saying? This type's getting nasty. Load asset. We want something that has the I skill of our entity type. Let me see if I can get these types. Going down the rabbit hole. Well, this is, you just have to be better at object. Well, let me do that. Let me do that. Oh no, it won't let me do this. Can I put just object here? Well, this is why I need to define a type up top. I need to find a type object. Load asset path has to be the T is a generic type or method. There's no implicit conversion from object. It has to be a Unity object. Okay, so this also needs to be a Unity object. Using Unity engine. So this needs to be a Unity object. Oh, it's not an interface. This is fascinating here. Our last break was 90 minutes ago. Oh no. I think we have to wrap up here, folks. I only have 10 minutes left, so it doesn't make sense to take a break. I'm gonna push myself just a little bit. You shouldn't do that normally. 2 hours is the max, I say. 90 minutes, if I was going any longer, I'd keep going. I want our I has to also implement, I can't do, this is interesting, because I want my I has skill tree. I want there to be a scriptable, okay, so I need to make a class. Okay, a class like this, which is sort of our skill, so this is like our generic skill tree data. like this, and our skill tree data. Okay, all right, so this needs to be a scriptable object. Let me open my skill tree data. This is not good so far. This thing should have this. Should have this. So our I skill tree, where did it go? I has skill tree. It's not really an I has skill tree anymore. It should be this thing. And this is our skill tree data of type entity skill. Okay, and this has an entity, it has a skill where E is an I. E implements I skilled entity of S, where S implements I skill. And this becomes a S. This list of edges, we'll move that in here as well. I skill tree data. This has to come inside here. I has skill tree. This becomes a class like this. Skill data of, okay, so this needs to be an internal class. An internal class, get access to those. And this is our S. This is our S. Okay. And this becomes a list of our edges like this. And we follow this down. This becomes our S. Oh no, this becomes our E. This becomes our S. This becomes our E. This becomes our F. This becomes our E, this becomes our S, this becomes our S. And, oh, this needs to be our override public. This is a virtual method now that we have to implement. So this will be throw new exception system not unimplemented or not implemented exception. Add skill to builder. Skill to builder must be implemented. Okay, so we don't need this. Okay, so now we have like this generic skill tree data. So this is our skill tree data. And then down here, our skill tree data becomes like my skill tree data. And so this should override the skill tree data from skill tree dot skill tree data of type I player character comma skill data. And we get rid of all of this and we override this, because this is our actual implementation. We get rid of this and then nothing's gonna compile. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna see if we can do this skill tree data does not exist. Here, we're gonna find out. We're going down the rabbit hole like Dramulk said. We got to manage all these types in our head. The type T is not defined. Okay, so it was kind of okay with that. And so this here this becomes a skill tree element of type E comma T. E comma T. More specifically, this should be I skilled entity of I renderable skill, comma I renderable skill. Can we do that? How many? We're missing many of those. Okay, so let's comment this out. It's telling me that skill tree element, the non-generic type skill tree element cannot be used with type arguments. but it not. It has, oh, skill tree data. Skill tree data. That's right, it is a long line. So one way we could fix this would be to say using skill tree data equals, we can actually force this type here down here, and so we end up with skill tree data like that. So we can use an alias to make this a little bit less gnarly. Skill tree data equals, okay. We're gonna try it. Can we, will this build, folks? That's a question. Will it build? Sir Black Soul, that is a long line. That type was intense. All right, let's go see if we can correct some of these things. This explicitly should be our captain coder. Captain coder, are you missing an assembly reference? Will it crash the internet? Possibly, constantly. Can we do new class like this? The modifier new is not valid here. Okay. This should be our captain. Oh, this should be Unity engine. Unity engine dot. There. Okay. Okay. It's already crashed my brain. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, this was an intense one. This one was wild. And this becomes our parent here. What is the complaint it's having? The skill tree, if I don't override this, it should go away, but we want to override it. Oh, thank you, Dramulx. Yes, okay. Whew. All right, do we got them all? Will it build? Will it build? It build, folks, it will build. Okay, so the last little thing I want to check is when we init this thing, does it load it properly? All right, so this should really be our skill tree asket, like that. Okay, let's come in here. I'm gonna forget this is that, so we're gonna change this real quick to skill tree asset. And then we're gonna go into our UI builder, window, UI toolkit, UI builder, null. Well, that's disappointing. But is that okay? Is it because it can't load a skill tree data? Let's try one more time. It's null. That's disappointing. Let's take a look here. Do I have the right path? I didn't change the path, so I should still have the same path. If I change it back to a scriptable object, does it still find it? Does that make anything better? It was finding it as a scriptable object. Now it's not finding it as my specific type. It finds it as a scriptable object. So that's interesting that it is finding it. It's telling me that the type doesn't seem to match. Can I cast it to that thing? Can I cast it? So then my next question is, can I cast you to a skill tree data? Let me look, because this lets me, so we have a skill tree of like that. I think it just might not like the generic type. Because this is letting me do an iPlayer character and iSkill data. So I wouldn't be able to make this, and then our iSkill tree data, if we look at this thing, this is a scriptable object. So I should be able to cast it. We're gonna find out when I can cast this thing. Skill tree data. All right, so we're gonna do skill tree data, data equals I think the new, can I have the as skill tree data? Can I do that? Tree data. Data. Let's see if this throws an exception. It might throw like cannot cast exception. We gotta wrap up here, folks. We made a lot of progress today. I'm really, really excited about this. Let's open up that UI builder one more time. I should not close it. I keep closing it, which is a mistake. We get null. Why does it not just throw an exception? Shouldn't it throw an exception if it can't cast it? That's super interesting. This is fascinating to me. We're close. We're close though. Paladin skill tree, which happens to be the skill tree type like that. This is fascinating that I can't do this. I'm gonna swap this in here. Is that a thing it'll let me do? Yeah. Fascinating. Skill tree data as data. Do data. We'll change this to skill tree. We'll change this to data. Folks, we gotta go. We gotta go. Data. We're gonna stop here. This is the last thing I do. And then we're gonna move forward. I gotta get to work. Yeah, we're gonna look at this more tomorrow. All right, we're gonna do a commit. We're gonna call this a work in progress commit. Work in progress. Just one more try. No, I want to get there so bad. One more work in progress. Attempt to add skill tree, generic skill tree scriptable object. Yeah, are you casting to a generic type? I am. But it's like a generic interface type. So, but the underlying thing, so real quick, I'll just show you. In our tree, we are casting to this generic type. So we load up the scriptable object. This object happens to implement this type. So the fact that I can't cast it is fascinating to me. Will it throw an exception if I do it this way? Woo me, you just came and we gotta go. Did you know today's stream is brought to you by the letter I? Okay, so now I get an invalid cast. I stands for ITC, folks. Woomy's an incredible, absolutely amazing pixel artist. Give her some love, folks. Hit that little heart. Give her a follow. Check out her stream. Her stream's amazing. She's gonna be opening up commissions. She's working on some stuff this month, but in April, opening up commissions. You gotta check her out, folks. Tell her the captain sent you. Tell her the captain sent you. She'll know what you mean. That said, folks, we gotta wrap up here. We gotta wrap up. Before I go, I do want to promote. I did set up a little site here. The captain loves a charity called Girls Who Code. You can support the captain by going to humble.captaincoder.org. All right, humble.captaincoder.org. I am now a partner of Humble Bundle, Captain Coder, Humble Bundle, and Girls Who Code. Girls Who Code is my chosen charity, folks. All right, so if you want to get some cool bundles, check them out. This Game Design and AI bundle is a bundle that I have purchased. This is a bundle I have purchased. This is a Captain Coder approved bundle. If you check it out through this link here, if your country, this bundle I don't think actually has Girls Who Code, but if your country allows for it, you can scroll down here and you can actually give money to the Girls Who Code organization, not specifically on this one. This one, it's a different organization, but you can come down here, give it direct relief, give them, go ahead, donate some money to them. You can adjust it there. That said, if you activate support here for 24 hours, anything you buy on humblebundle.com will generate some money for Girls Who Code and a little bit of support for Captain Coder. That said, Girls Who Code needs it more than me. Give it to Girls Who Code, folks. As always, I gotta head out here. But yeah, amazing organization. We've been going too long. I gotta hop off here. Let me find someone to raid here, folks. But as always, thank you guys so much for being here. It's been an absolute blast. We're making tons of progress. I will be posting an update on the blog later today. If you want to follow that blog, you can. If you want to be on the Discord, notify next time I do something. I'm not being here tomorrow. Tomorrow I have work stuff in the morning, but I'll be back on Saturday, Sunday, folks. Saturday, Sunday, we will return. Let's see if we can find someone to raid. But yeah, awesome organization, Girls Who Code. Anything you click, that's my charity of choice. That's my charity of choice on Humble Bundle. We are gonna go raid Revere, folks. We can give Revere a raid. Revere is an incredible streamer as well, making a game called Unforgiven Space. Go ahead and give him some love, folks. But we're gonna go raid Revere. As always, keep coding, keep growing, have yourself a beautiful day, and you are welcome back anytime. Thanks for hanging out, folks.